Was that why you sent him over there? But he's all in to keep Joe Biden as president. I do believe that he is scared to death that Donald Trump will be president. There'll be nothing left of his legacy at all. And Joe Biden's out there to restore it. So because of that, I think that Barack Obama will be quiet. Hey, listen to the Brian Kilmeade Show. So glad you're here. Beautiful Monday.
Hi, I'm Henry Winkler. My eyes are very important to me. My eyes connect me with things I love. I loved my late father-in-law dearly. He always lit up a room, but his vision dimmed with age. He had age-related macular degeneration, or AMD. And since partnering with Apellis, I've learned there's an advanced form of the disease called geographic atrophy, or GA. His struggle with vision loss made me want to help others know about GA's warning signs. For some, straight lines seem wavy, like when looking at a door frame. For others, blurry or missing spots can make it hard to read or see loved ones' faces. Many have trouble seeing in low light, making driving at night difficult. GA gets worse over time and cannot be reversed. If you've been diagnosed with AMD and notice vision changes, don't wait. Talk to your eye doctor about GA today. Learn more at GAWon'tWait.com. That's GAWon'tWait.com.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-399-9407 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-399-9407. That's 800-399-9407. What do you have to lose? Call 800-399-9407. Again, 800-399-9407.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
The prosecution's star witness? I'm Kevin Uretsky, Fox News. As former President Donald Trump's legal team faces a 5 p.m. deadline today to respond to a proposed federal protective court order concerning his latest indictment on charges the former president tried to overturn the 2020 election, comes word a former member of Team Trump, former Vice President Mike Pence, could potentially take the stand at trial. Pence telling CBS's Face the Nation.
I stand by the facts as they occurred. I mean, it ebbed and flowed between different legal theories, but at the end of the day, I know we did our duty. I know we kept our oath.
Mike Pence says he's running for president because the former president tried to put himself above the Constitution.
That's Fox's Jared Halpern. And a judge has dismissed President Trump's defamation counterclaim against writer E. Jean Carroll. She won a $5 million.
Hello. Are we on?
Yeah.
Oh, good to know. Because I didn't. First of all, I want to welcome you to this gorgeous background.
Gorgeous.
It's gorgeous background. I love it. It's pink over here,
Do the show.
and it's purple over here.
Do the show.
So
kill time at the end of the show. I promise.
let's do a good 5 to 6 minutes on purple and pink bricks because I got a lot to say.
Save all that good stuff for when I'm done.
I will. I'll save that for air. Right now, it's just pre-show. So first of all, Annie's back.
Okay.
Annie's back.
Yeah, she's
That's kind of a big deal. Annie is not on screen right now, but she is over in this direction right here.
Certain you can hear her voice.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
She's getting
Putting her face on.
crimped and primped.
My face is on.
She's
My hair.
she's oh gosh, that used to be
She's
so.
putting her hair on.
When I was a
The
kid
show!
and a woman would say, "I'm gonna
Dude,
paint my face," I'd be like,
show.
"Bleh, that's such a weird phrase."
We're running out of time.
Chad Pergram's gonna start the show, and then Mike Davis. So it's like packed, and then Wiggins America, and then
Take a second off there.
so you're not gonna hear any of this stuff that we're talking about right now. You're gonna have to wait because we got like real content.
What is Wiggins America?
Wiggins America is Monday Roundup. The most important stories that you missed this weekend. If you didn't hear it from Wiggins America, I say that in the future tense backwards, then if you didn't hear it, it didn't happen. Yeah, Pergram is Devin Archer. Mike Davis is Trump.
Man, if only somebody put that down on the show sheet for you.
I'm not looking down. I'm looking at the camera. See if I let's see if I can hold this up close to the camera and then pretend like I'm reading. There we go. Look at that.
Pretend like you're not reading.
Pretend like I'm not reading. So I'm looking right at you, not the show sheet. Devin Archer.
You definitely look like you're reading.
We're starting with Devin Archer and Chad Pergram. Then Mike Davis on Trump's indictment. Some of these things, I'm not going to say Annie doesn't know about them, but she's been on vacation.
Yeah.
So
Nothing
we're going
happened while I was gone, right?
You're going to relearn everything with
No
her.
news?
105, Steve Moore.
Economy by
He is not just at Heritage. He is not just a fellow at Heritage. He is a distinguished fellow in economics.
That sounds like
at
something
Heritage.
that once you are made into being a fellow, that's like when you've arrived and then that guy walks in and goes, distinguished fellow. And then all the fellows are like,
Yeah.
oh man.
Yeah.
As a female, I look forward to the day where I get to be a fellow.
Yeah. You get to walk into a room and basically just sort of unbutton your jacket and just be like,
I didn't know
fellows,
where you were going with that.
All right.
fellows.
Annie, you got a live in 1 minute.
All righty. Anything else you want to add to this?
Maybe the poll.
Yes, quickly.
Is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or it never was a choice? Let us know. YouTube live chat poll.
Step 1, find out the amount of money you'll need to retire. Step 2, have a plan to get there. Step 3, make sure that plan can take advantage of market gains but protect you from market losses. Discover how to do all three with a free consultation at 800-508-6108. That's 800-508-6108.
All investments involve risk, including losses. Past performance does not guarantee future results.
Replacing your windows should be stress-free and add value to your home. Infinity from Marvin Windows are your best choice. Made with Ultrex fiberglass, 8 times stronger than vinyl, low maintenance and available in many colors. And we leave your home spotless. Schedule your free design consultation by calling Lakeside Renovation and Design at 636-978-5000 or online at lakesidерenovationanddesign.com.
There's still time for you to reserve your spot at tomorrow's Protecting Your Retirement educational event. Make sure that you give them a call at 314-993-9494 so that you can make sure that you have a spot for you, your friend, if you want to go with another couple. It starts at 6:30 and it's at the Frontenac Hilton. Simple to reserve your spots for. It's free. And you're going to get to learn about how you can protect your retirement. It doesn't cost you anything. There are snacks and drinks there. And I'm going to show up at about 6 o'clock and try to meet each and every one of you as you come in for the event. I would love to meet you. And this is a great opportunity to do that, where you get to learn about making sure that your retirement is worry-free. Thomas Helbig, Bob Kershaw, Tammy Kershaw, the entire team that you can listen to at the Retirement Advisory Group make this event simple to attend. It's free. You just got to call to sign up so they make sure they got a spot for you. And then you just listen to them talk for about 30 minutes, 45 minutes. He doesn't soak up your entire evening about how he can help you protect your retirement when you are that age, 59 and a half or older, and looking to retire soon. Reserve your spot at 314-993-9494, online at retirementkey.com.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Book instantly at an upfront price or request quotes from multiple pros. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
I'm Jim Onder. Not all law firms are created equal. Don't risk your future with just any firm. See how Onder Law is different.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-9000 to learn more.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not a married sweetheart. Goodness
sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome to the Annie Frey Show. I didn't screw that part up. It's me. I'm Annie, back on the Annie Frey Show. So what'd I miss? Anything?
A couple. There's been a couple things.
Been out for a week. Last week, no news is good news? I don't know.
There was a ton of news, though. That's the problem. It wasn't no news because there was a lot of news. The opposite of no news was what happened last week.
This is the most I've ever paid attention to news alerts during a vacation. And it still wasn't enough.
Yeah, it was a tale of two ends of the week because you had the beginning of the week was all about Devin Archer and the Biden family corruption scheme that is still being exposed because the media is not really interested in it. So Congress has got to slowly peel back those layers. And then the second half of the week really started with probably Tuesday night, Wednesday, with the third indictment of Donald Trump, which led the news story or led the news cycle for the rest of the week. So as you know,
here's how the show is going to go today, because I admittedly am not as well versed as I would like to be on these things. And I'm just putting that out there so that you understand that I am acclimating myself to all this news as I've been catching up here over the weekend. So we've got Ryan. Forgot your name. I almost called you Rob.
That's okay.
I was looking at Rob down here.
Rob Wiggins.
That's fine. That's my middle name. So.
Oh, yeah. I was looking at something that said Rob DeSantis. I like Ron DeSantis, but I'm not going to call him Rob.
I don't get the Rob thing.
It's just rude. It's all it is. It's just rude. This is the slap fight that's going on between Trump and DeSantis. So we're going to speak at 12:25 with Mike Davis, who's going to talk to us about the latest Trump indictment, about this news that's supposed to culminate today by 5 o'clock. I guess it's the gag order on Donald Trump being able to talk about what's going on. So I understand it. So at 12:25 today, we're going to speak with Mike Davis. That's like 15 minutes from now about everything Trump. And I'm going to be asking questions that I genuinely don't necessarily know the answers to. And I'm going to, if Ryan will allow it, have him in here just to help guide me. Imagine that.
Just call me Rob.
What did
Kyle? If you're getting short on material, just yell, Rob.
Rob, I need some help in here, please.
And I'll step in to the best of my ability.
And Chad Pergram's going to join us here in just a minute to talk a little bit about Devin Archer.
Devin Archer was the adult in the room in terms of how this business should be structured. And he confirmed everything that everybody assumed the worst of, which is that Joe Biden was the product that this firm was selling. And he unequivocally said any people discussing or claiming that he was not involved with his son's business is totally and completely incorrect.
So Peter Schweitzer there commenting about some of what we have heard from Devin Archer, who is that business associate of Hunter Biden, who I might add received a very kind thank you letter from President Biden years ago that somehow or another Devin Archer and Hunter Biden were in business together successfully, and that pleased then Vice President Joe Biden. Let's get to the latest on and a recap of what we know so far about Devin Archer. Joining us now is Chad Pergram. He is a senior congressional correspondent for Fox News, and we always love the opportunity to get his updates here. Chad, thanks for being with us today.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me.
Of course. What can you set the table for people who are now getting a little more familiar with Devin Archer's name and this testimony that he has recently given to Congress?
Well, Devin Archer came in a week ago today, talked for 4 hours, a closed-door, transcribed interview, not under oath, to the House Oversight Committee. He talked about how Hunter Biden really tried to use his father as entree to different business deals. And, the thing here is, did Hunter Biden do these things? Yes, that's pretty compelling from the comments and the answers that Devin Archer gave a week ago today and some of the other things we've heard. But does that necessarily point directly back to the president and some wrongdoing on his behalf? That's far from clear. It's clear that the son, Hunter Biden, was trying to sell what was termed in the interview as the brand of Joe Biden, the brand of the Biden family name. In other words, the name of the game was the name. And that Joe Biden could apparently fix things, or there was this imprimatur that if you're dealing with the Bidens, that certain things should be untouchable. And most significantly is Hunter Biden served on the board of Burisma. That's the Ukrainian energy firm that was under investigation. And Devon Archer told House investigators that Burisma probably would have gone under were it not for the Biden family name and their involvement.
So we're speaking with Chad Pergram right now, the senior congressional correspondent for Fox News. What I pick up on what you're saying right now is the things that we've learned from this testimony coming from Devon Archer last week in front of it with Congress is that it was transcribed. It was not under oath. Is there another natural step in this process as far as Congress is concerned?
Well, they could ask him to come and appear in an open session, an open hearing. And where this is all going, some Republicans, especially those on the hard right, said, well, that this was the smoking gun. I don't know that it completely goes that far, but this is where there has been this energy among some to impeach the president. Now, Kevin McCarthy, the House Speaker, just before the recess, they are in recess in the House until the middle of September, he started to use language that was very interesting where he alluded to Merrick Garland, who, is the top law enforcement, officer in the country, and kind of had suggested that if the Hunter Biden prosecution and the plea deal didn't go too well, that was thrown out of court in Delaware a few weeks ago, that maybe there should be, they should look at impeachment for Merrick Garland. Then he opened the door to, as he termed it, an impeachment inquiry to the president. Now, that term of art is very important, impeachment inquiry, because, again, as I always say, it's about the math. There are not the votes in the House of Representatives right now to impeach the President of the United States, Merrick Garland or Alejandro Mayorkas, the DHS Secretary on other things, Christopher Wray, the FBI Director. I mean, it's kind of hard to keep track of who they want to impeach. But when the Speaker says this, Bob Good, who's a Republican from Virginia, said, well, that's a paradigm shift. And he's right. It is a paradigm shift. But an impeachment inquiry is not impeachment. And the House, in order to launch a formal impeachment inquiry, that's a term of art, Annie, on Capitol Hill, you would have to pass that in the House. And then you have additional investigatory powers, and you can, issue subpoenas and so on and so forth. And so what Kevin McCarthy is doing there is he's kind of sending a trial balloon up. He's also kind of keeping the right at bay by saying impeachment inquiry. So you're talking about impeachment even though you don't have impeachment necessarily, because they might not get the nuance. Parliamentarily there is a nuance there. And Kevin McCarthy then has gone back and said, well, nothing has changed. I just mentioned maybe we should have an impeachment inquiry. And again, this is where you've had other members like Andy Ogles, who's a Republican, very conservative from Tennessee. He has a privilege resolution that says if we come back in September and it's not obvious that we don't have some movement, I will bring up my resolution to do this. Lauren Boebert, the Republican from Colorado, tried that back in late June. So at some point, when is that dam going to break?
Chad Pergram with us right now. I want to follow up one question with what you've been talking about, and you do always say it's in the math. The Republicans have 222 to the Democrats' 212 seats in the House. There's only so much they can do, but even the slimmest of majority gives the Republicans an immense amount of power when it comes to these hearings. How do you see what the Republicans what they're capable of doing just by virtue of having the majority, listening to what the IRS whistleblowers were saying? And that testimony was pretty bombshell testimony, and a lot of what the Democrats were pushing back against in that testimony was really not about the issue at hand. They kind of diverted their attention to Trump, which made me feel like they didn't really have a strong defense against what the IRS whistleblowers were saying. Would you look at what the Republicans are doing right now as all involved in one particular goal, or should we look at the IRS whistleblower testimony, the other Devon Archer testimony? Are these all individual pieces of action with the Republican majority in the House?
It's all connected in that sense. And when you can't legislate, what do? You investigate. And the GOP base, and certainly those loyal to the former president, endorse this. What has caught my attention in the past few days is after the indictment of the former president, that you've had, certain members pivot to say, oh, that isn't it funny that Devon Archer was just up here and now suddenly they are, indicting the president. Now, I don't know that those two things are connected. We had heard for weeks and weeks and weeks that was going to happen. and it was an issue of scheduling for Devin Archer. It's interesting that David Weiss, who is the U.S. Attorney for Delaware, has said that he's more than happy to come and appear before Congress, and gave Jim Jordan, the chair of the Judiciary Committee, 4 separate dates that he could come and talk. These are all going to be big moments, but is this enough for the Republican base? Because if they don't have, a skull on a stick somewhere, that's not going to please them. And again, because it is about the math. And so maybe it's enough for the Republicans just to always talk about this, and there's one more explosive allegation, and it inches closer to the closer to the president, or there's some other bombshell that comes up. But again, when you have 18 Republicans representing districts that were carried by President Biden, and you have a 222 to 212 majority right now in the House with one vacancy, the math doesn't add up. I mean, you have to have some pretty compelling evidence. And so this is this tight wire that Kevin McCarthy has to walk, where he talks about impeachment, but it's a lot different than doing impeachment.
Right. Chad Pergram with us. Final question for you. Knowing how tight that majority is right now, I know a lot of people are very enamored by all of the drama surrounding the presidential race going into November of 2024, but this House race and the Senate being as razor thin as it is going to be a really, really big deal. And I'm sure that the presidential nominees will have a big impact down ticket. Do you feel as though the Republican majority, being only those very few seats, is handling the very fragile nature of a majority? Do you feel like they're handling it pretty well?
It's really hard. I mean, you had a lot of Republicans who voted against, the infrastructure bill a couple of years ago. You had them, taking credit then for some of these projects that were done in their district. You had more Democrats vote for the debt ceiling bill than Republicans, even though Republicans are in the majority. That's really ticking off the right, and they're going to take that out on Kevin McCarthy at some point, especially if the government shuts down. There's a school of thought in the Democratic Party that they're like, maybe things are not so bad for the Democrats, because if President Trump is the nominee again, then that really does a lot to maybe flip the House and probably flip the Senate, frankly. That he works very well in a primary, but not necessarily in a general. And so, if you don't have a lot to show, and this is where the Democrats came out and they said, well, look, inflation is going down. It was called the Inflation Reduction Act, whether or not it even did that or not. But even if it does that, in 6 months, and it takes a while for those types of numbers to gel with the public, then Democrats can point to that. There's a reason they named it that, even though it may have seemed farcical at the time. Maybe they were playing the long game on something like that. We got a ways to go here, and if all the public sees is a relitigation of the riot at the Capitol and the relitigation of the 2020 election, and you can't elect a speaker, and the government shuts down, and they keep trying to impeach people, those middle voters, they're not going to go for this.
Yeah.
That's a problem for the GOP.
And it will be one that we are watching and enjoy your coverage of every time we have the opportunity to speak with you. Chad Pergram, thank you so much for your time today. We're very grateful for it.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Chad Pergram, senior congressional correspondent for Fox News. You can follow him on Twitter at Chad Pergram. The guy knows the minute-by-minute details of what's going on in the House. Ryan Wiggins, how do you feel like Chad Pergram did there?
I'd give him a solid C+, B minus.
What are you talking about?
He knows exactly what he's doing, and he's so good at it that was average for him.
He's the best. I love Chad Pergram. I'm so grateful to be back with you this afternoon here on the Annie Frey Show. Back from vacation. Had a great vacation. I might talk about it later in the show. I might not talk about it later in the show. I don't even know that you guys want to hear about it. But I am back. I am refreshed. There is news to be discussed. And getting over the Devin Archer conversation here with Chad Pergram that we just finished, when we return, Mike Davis will be with us. And we're going to talk to him about indictment number 3. Is that correct?
Yep.
Indictment number 3. The hat trick of indictments with Donald Trump. There's still 2 out, a New York one and a Georgia one, potentially.
Maybe.
I mean,
the Georgia one may be a part of the third one. I don't know, because it was kind of wrapped up in it, but we'll see.
It's a separate investigation.
Yeah.
It is, but...
It's very hard to keep up with, especially when you're on vacation. So I am going to get my refresher with Mike Davis, who's the founder and president of the Article 3 Project. When we return, join me. Don't go anywhere. Today's YouTube live chat poll on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. We are inching closer to 6,000 subscribers. Come be part of our community there. Is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice or never a choice. Can't wait to hear what you have to say about that. Send us your comments and leave your vote on the Annie Frey YouTube channel. Mike Davis on the Annie Frey Show in just a minute.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
The Bagel Loan, 314-324-4440. My friend Stewie is the guy. He is the one who is going to work with you to make sure that your pursuit of a mortgage for the home that you're looking to buy, that you get the best deal possible. It is a huge, huge portion of buying a house, is making sure you get the lowest rate you can. He's going to help you with that. But also, when you use Stewie and you get the Bagel Loan, you're going to pay nothing in fees that other lenders out there are going to charge you for. Those closing costs, right after you get the agreed upon price of this is what you're going to offer and this is what they're going to accept. When those closing costs hit, if you're not really factoring that in, it can be kind of a punch to the gut. That's why you go with the Bagel Loan, because those fees don't exist. It's not a trick. He has done 2 Bagel Loan refinances for me, both time able to get me a lower rate than the time before. And he can get you the lowest rate available right now for you and make it so that you don't have to pay those closing costs when you use the Bagel Loan. Stewie is the best. I trust him with my money, with my mortgage. I want you to give him the opportunity to earn your business as well. 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715.
Back to doing what I love and more, thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Deerbergs.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-575-6986. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. There is zero risk to you. If we can't reduce your tax debt, then you pay nothing. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have a 5-star rating on Google and Yelp and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-575-6986. That's 800-575-6986. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Air Comfort Service is proud to support Greater St. Louis Honor Flight. Sign your veteran up for the Honor Flight today at gslhonorflight.org. And for heating services, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Heritage Foundation is coming to St. Louis. It's this Wednesday. Join all of us at 97.1 FM Talk at Tapawingo National Golf Club. We're almost sold out, so get your $10 tickets now. Go to 971talk.com/events.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
You probably think that you are better now, better now. You only say that cause I'm not around, not around. You know I never meant to let you down.
They're trying to make it illegal to question the results of a bad election. It was a very bad election. Everybody knows that. But only a party that cheats in elections would try to make it illegal, because if you have nothing to hide, why would you do that? And why would you be afraid to have those results come out? If you can't challenge a rigged election, or if you don't have borders, then in actuality, you really don't have a country.
President Trump saying if you can't challenge a rigged election, you don't have a real country. I was on vacation last week and I was still checking the news as it came through, because Donald Trump has been indicted once again. Joining us right now, Mike Davis, founder and president of the Article 3 Project, is an expert on all things legal, and we're so grateful to have him on the show with us to talk about indictment number 3. Mike, thank you for being here today. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
So let me ask you the most basic question for people. I kind of feel like I have dipped my toe more into how the non-political nerds live their life. I'm on a family vacation for a week. The stuff is going down, and some of it penetrates my vacation. Indictment number 3, a lot of people go, gosh, this guy's got legal troubles going at him all over the place. What would you want those individuals who may not know the specifics about this indictment or others to know about the legal system that is pursuing Donald Trump?
This is lawfare against President Trump, unprecedented lawfare, unprecedented indictments against a former president and a future potential president. This is driven by Joe Biden himself, and I have the receipts on that on my Twitter handle that I just posted yesterday. This is absolutely driven by Joe Biden, because Joe Biden fears he can't beat Trump on November 7th, 2024. So he's simply indicting him and launching this unprecedented lawfare. It started with Matthew Colangelo going from the number 3 office in the Biden Justice Department, a political appointee, joining Alvin Bragg, the Manhattan DA, the Soros-funded DA, and resurrecting the zombie case, charging a businessman for the non-crime of settling a nuisance claim after the prior Manhattan DA, the Federal Election Commission, the Manhattan U.S. Attorney, and Alvin Bragg himself rejected this legal theory. It was Matthew Colangelo from the Biden Justice Department who resurrected this. That was step 1. Step 2 was Jack Smith indicting a former president 29 months after he leaves office for the non-crime of a former president having his presidential records, which is allowed by the Presidential Records Act. That's why Congress gives them the office of former president, which is very secure, with office space, with staff, with security clearances. And then 31 months after Trump left office, Jack Smith again indicted Trump for the non-crime of a presidential candidate objecting to a presidential election, which is allowed by the Electoral Count Act of 1887. It's also allowed by the First Amendment. That's separate from Fannie Willis down in Fulton County, Georgia, who will almost certainly indict Trump again this month related to January 6th, and then Tiff James, the New York Attorney General, suing Trump for fraud, for the non-fraud of a businessman paying back sophisticated banks in full with interest. This is Democrat lawfare driven by President Biden, and this is all lawless.
Mike Davis with us right now, the founder and president of the Article 3 Project. You can follow him on Twitter at Mr. DDMIA. I take the body of evidence that was presented against Donald Trump when he was candidate Donald Trump the first time into his presidency, Russia collusion and the idea that he was only in it for himself and his business dealings that might involve big bad guys like Vladimir Putin, and all of the body of evidence that was amassed against him. The slobbering, slithering media backed up all the story and made sure that it was front and center the entire time. They end up impeaching Donald Trump. Why? Because he was trying to dig up dirt on a political opponent. we find out after all is said and done that none of that actual Russia collusion stuff actually is true, but they've tarnished his reputation so much that people who aren't paying close attention to what is taking place right now might just think, same stuff, different day with another indictment for Donald Trump. What do you want Americans of any political walk of life to understand about the political imbalance that exists right now in our Justice Department? Is what is happening to Donald Trump, could that happen to one of us?
There's no question that this weaponization of the Justice Department started under President Obama with Eric Holder. They have politicized and weaponized the Justice Department. Jack Smith was appointed by Eric Holder as the head of the Public Integrity Section. Jack Smith brought an unprecedented indictment against former Virginia Governor Bob McDonnell, a likely presidential or vice presidential contender in 2016. A bogus corruption theory found him guilty, convicted him. It wasn't until several years later that the Supreme Court unanimously, 8-0, reversed Jack Smith and his bogus theory. It would have been 9-0, but Justice Scalia passed away. But Jack Smith didn't care. Mission accomplished, because he took out a potential Republican presidential or vice presidential candidate. That's what they're doing now with President Trump. Jack Smith got banished to The Hague. He was in exile as a prosecutor in The Hague. And Joe Biden and Merrick Garland brought back this disgraced former federal prosecutor who was unanimously reversed and rebuked by the Supreme Court to take out President Trump. It is very hard to get a criminal conviction overturned by the Supreme Court. It is nearly impossible for that to happen unanimously and get rebuked in the process. Jack Smith found the way. He should be a barista at Starbucks right now, but Merrick Garland and Joe Biden brought him back to take out their leading political enemy. This is lawfare by Democrats. If they can go after Trump, they can go after all of us. We're seeing that. They didn't just go after Trump on January 6th. They went after his top aides. They went after his supporters. They're still rounding up people who trespassed and took selfies on January 6th while they let BLM and Antifa destroy our country, attack the federal courthouse on a daily basis. They're going after parents protesting at school board meetings because of the garbage that they're teaching kids in these schools, this Marxist garbage and gender ideology they're teaching kids in schools. They're going after Christians praying outside of abortion clinics while they let trans terrorists firebomb Catholic churches and go after crisis pregnancy centers. This is a politicized and weaponized justice system started under Obama and taken to a next level under Biden and Merrick Garland.
Yeah, it is definitely not just an effort against one Donald Trump. It is against the entire movement that Donald Trump has really lit a flame underneath. We're speaking with Mike Davis. He's a former chief counsel for nominations for the United States Senate Committee on the Judiciary, and he's the founder and president of the Article 3 Project. Is there an obvious natural conclusion that you can see to indictment 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 or 5 that will be coming for Donald Trump? Is he going to get justice, or is America going to get justice in any of these scenarios?
Well, I think Democrats are really making a mistake by how they're doing these indictments, this lawfare. They should have just stuck to the documents case in Mar-a-Lago and nothing else. And they probably could have taken out Trump, even though he's allowed to have his records under the Presidential Records Act. That was their best case. But instead, they started with Alvin Bragg's buffoonery up in Manhattan, and then Jack Smith's indictment looks watered down, and then Jack Smith did this utterly buffoon indictment of Trump for the non-crime of objecting to a presidential election, and that Fani Willis is going to pile on. This is like what they did during the Kavanaugh confirmation. They couldn't just stick to Christine Blasey Ford, who was clearly not telling the truth, but she was the most credible out of the allegations. They ruled out 5 more allegations against Kavanaugh, and each one of those subsequent allegations undermined Christine Blasey Ford's. And I ran what was called the dead chicken strategy on them, where I wrapped those allegations around their necks and we confirmed Justice Kavanaugh for life. This is going to backfire what they're doing to President Trump. They are increasing his polling support. They're going to guarantee that he's back in the White House in January of 2025 after President Trump beats Biden like a drum on November 7th, 2024.
Mike Davis, before we let you go, when Donald Trump does achieve what you're suggesting he's going to achieve there, what does President Donald Trump, in his second term, what is he capable to do to right the injustices in the justice system today?
Well, when I'm his acting attorney general for my 3-week reign of terror with my Trump pardon in hand, I am going to indict and fire everyone on both of my lists on day one. I'm going to give them a healthy dose of their own medicine, dead chicken strategy, so they never think about doing this ever again, because Democrats only care about power and they only respect power, and they're going to get some Mike Davis firings and indictments on day one, and then I'm going to fly around on that FBI jet for 2.5 weeks and not do a damn thing like Bill Barr did for the last 6 months of his tenure as Attorney General.
It's worth the price of admission. Mike Davis, we're grateful for you. Thanks for being on with the Annie Frey Show today.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. He's the founder and president of the Article 3 Project. He is the former chief counsel for nominations in the U.S. Senate Committee on the Judiciary. I believe he worked very closely with Senator Grassley. He is a former law clerk as well for Justice Gorsuch, and he is looking forward to 3 weeks of being a temporary attorney general. I mean, man, he's got it planned out. He does have it planned out. Mike Davis, if you want to thank him for being on the Annie Frey Show or lambaste him for being on the Annie Frey Show, I'm pretty sure he can handle both. On Twitter at Mr. DDMIA. You can also follow the Article 3 Project at Article3 Project, article3project.org. When we come back, as Wiggins likes to say on the Monday Roundup, we should add to that Monday Roundup the wildest ride in the wilderness, because I need that in my life.
I love it.
He's going to give us the stories that we missed. And as he says it, if he doesn't report them, they didn't happen. We'll be back in a minute.
Everything came second to the band song. You're not even speaking.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show. Follow Annie on Twitter at Annie Frey Show.
We were looking forward to the rest of our lives. Used to keep my picture posted by your bedside. Now I see you dress her with the socks you don't like. And I'm rolling with my brothers like it's Jonas.
I want to tell you about an event coming up that you're going to want to be at. You want to reserve your spot. Vitae Foundation is always putting together these amazing events where you can go listen to people who have a pro-life message, really impactful people with impactful stories, and they will tell you why they are pro-life. They will tell you why pro-life is important to them. But also, when you partner with the Vitae Foundation, you are working with people who are helping women. I know that the whole pro-life message is about, helping save babies from abortion. And that's absolutely true. But the way you do that is by helping women. The women are at the epicenter of the abortion epidemic, and being there to support these women and putting your money, I'm just going to say it like it is, putting your money where your mouth is on being a pro-life advocate. You can start that journey with the Vitae Foundation, and you can go Tuesday, September 12th to their Southern Illinois annual pro-life event. If you want to hear a story of nearly being aborted and overcoming homelessness and poverty, you are going to want to register for this Tuesday, September 12th event. It's at the Regency Conference Center in O'Fallon, Illinois, and you can learn more on it by going to prowomanaapproach.com. That's prowomanaapproach.com. Support the Vitae Foundation. I certainly do, and I hope you'll join me. prowomanaapproach.com.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at LanceDruryLaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money to pay the taxes.
Those years cost him dearly.
Most of it was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
They settled my account with the IRS. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Sunbelt Solomon is hiring in St. Louis. Join our field transformer recycling team. Work with your hands, run heavy equipment, operate power tools, and travel. Sunbelt Solomon offers full benefits like great health insurance and paid sick and vacation time. Apply today at sunbeltsolomon.com. That's sunbeltsolomon.com.
More than 80 million Americans depend on AM radio each month for news, weather, and emergency information. A new bill in Congress would make sure AM radio remains in cars, because when cell and internet services are down, this free service could be your only lifeline. Text AM to 52886 and tell Congress to support the AM Radio for Every Vehicle Act.
Message and data rates may apply. You may receive up to 4 messages a month, and you may text STOP to stop.
This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
You know what's a great radio show? The Annie Frey Show. It's on right now until 3 o'clock. I invite you to stay tuned. You know what? You're already in the right spot. Why don't you just stay here?
I did not miss this.
That was the tease. I could tease the live chat poll. Is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never a choice?
Are you figuring out what to do in this promo?
I am,
right
as
now,
we're
live?
doing it.
This is very meta.
I think that you should just keep listening until 3, and then let us know at any point until 3
Mark
what your
Reardon
answer is.
Just really flattered
to
right
the
now.
YouTube live chat
Just
poll.
listen to the station until 3 p.m.
You can listen as long as you want. You can listen right on through midnight. You can listen to Supernatural talk
I encourage
past
you to
1
continue
a.m.
listening to the Mark Reardon Show after this one.
I do too. And Del Walmsley too. Del, shout out, buddy. The YouTube live chat poll is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never a choice? Let us know, and you can tune in online as well. It is 12:44. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Connect with the personalities and give your feedback. 97.1 FM Talk is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. For content that's additional to the radio, join us there. This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Let's go! Walks barely down the street with the brim pulled way down low. Ain't no sound but the sound.
What did you just do on the air? What just happened?
I really don't know. I just started talking. I thought, you know what? I'm going to promo this show. And then we'll just see what happens. That's what happened.
I think you said, you know what you should, if you're looking for a really good radio show, you know what you should listen to?
This.
And I think people are like, I don't know. I'm not sure.
I don't blame them.
Really?
Although,
what do you mean?
like I said,
Wait a second.
it is a really good show. It's just when I do things, I don't know what's happening. I don't plan well.
I concur. When you do things, I don't know what's happening.
This is like whenever Annie does something really great radio-wise, and you're like, that's good radio stuff.
Well, in real time,
this is the opposite of that.
I realize that. I go, wow, that was impressive. That was good stuff. And I enjoy it. It's a genuine enjoyment that I'm experiencing with you in real time.
There's an actual physically observable thing about you.
Yeah.
When you
It's my
stop
face.
being on the show and you start being
Listening
a
to the
listener
show.
to the show.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
happens. I see it happening, and I'm like, well, there goes that.
Yeah. It happened during Chad Pergram. I was like, this is a good interview. And you were like, you have anything to ask? And I was like,
No.
shoot. I'm listening, though. It's good.
Wiggins.
I can't wait.
Yeah. Yeah, me too. All right.
Easy with the whip.
I just love it, though. Just so you know.
You sure about that?
Elon Musk is going to foot your legal bills if you get in trouble with your employer for your online posts. How nice is that?
You hear that, Odyssey?
Yeah, you hear that, employer? Listen, I got Elon Musk on my back now. I mean, with me.
Our
not
employer
on
did
my
not hear that. They turned the station off after that last promo.
They look for ways to easy exit me.
Leah's listening to 97.1. They're like, what's on Hot 104.1? I'm going to see what they're doing. Wouldn't that be weird if they were doing the same thing?
Yeah, they're doing a tease. Time check. This time check sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
You know what's a great radio show? The Annie Frey Show.
I don't think they're saying that on Hot 104.1, but I sure hope that they are.
Elon Musk is going to put his money where his mouth is. He's offered legal aid for users on X, formerly known as Twitter. We refer to it as Twixter, who were treated unfairly by employers as a result of their posts. I think that this is amazing that he is, I mean, obviously it's good for business because...
What's the report from?
He wants you to, this is from the Washington Examiner.
Interesting.
That he is willing to foot your legal bills. To me, this is another step in the direction of free speech.
But
He's obviously lost money on this deal.
Shouldn't what you tweet have an effect on your job and like what you tweet and what you say does matter to your employer?
Not if it's just your political opinions. I mean, if you're tweeting your political opinions and your employer doesn't like it, that's a free speech issue. I mean, if you're tweeting bad things about the company,
I know, but
that's
when you're
different.
when you're saying your political opinions, that's subjective. Your political opinions could be also considered hateful in this world.
Well, that's the point, is that if they are considered hateful, but it's a matter of free speech, he's saying, I will step in and front your legal costs.
Are there opinions that one could have that are politically rooted that are, in fact, disgusting and hateful?
Yeah,
I
of course.
think so.
Of course.
I would think so.
So I wouldn't want to say that just because it's a political opinion gives you a free speech pass from your employer, because you are potentially representing your employer.
But the flip side of that would be as well that your employer shouldn't have to look at, like, if you tweet out, I'm voting Republican this year, they shouldn't be like, well, that's hate speech.
Sure.
You know, so
I'm just saying that the conversation is broader than I should be able to tweet whatever I want politically and have no professional repercussions. I'm not saying that's what's here, but I'm saying broadly, I think that there are people who are suggesting that if they were to tweet out something like, against the, man, I'm only like living in the world of headlines right now, trying to catch up with everything. But there was like a gun suggestion from Democrats who wasn't there a story out that they wanted to put ARs in the hands, like a Democrat-led bill that they wanted to put ARs in the hands of African Americans?
Oh, this is vaguely familiar to me. I know what you're talking about, but I don't know any more than what you're saying.
So, like, let's take it from that place where we don't know more about the story. Somebody picks up an opinion on that and tweets out something about that story. You could react to that story in a hateful way and say it's politically aligned and still have a conflict with your employer. Could still have a rightful conflict.
Well, broadly speaking, there is no clear-cut line on these things.
Right.
Well,
which is why
that's what the courts are for.
That's what I was going to say. That's why these always end up in court, is because we don't know exactly what it is and what it isn't at any given moment.
All I'm saying is that when it comes to your First Amendment rights and your free speech rights, you having the legal right to say something does not necessarily stop your employer from saying, you can say this all you want, but you are also not going to be employed here.
Well, your employer also has rights, free speech rights. And if you represent that employer publicly by saying something that they don't like, that's where it gets muddy.
Yeah,
it's always just a matter of what is it? It's not usually Republicans persecuting Democrat employees. It's usually the other way around.
What will be interesting in this story specifically is where Elon Musk decides to get involved.
Yeah. And will he? He said he will. Will he actually do it? We'll see. Next story. More than 90% of teachers will spend their own money on student supplies as the school year nears, as in over 90%, like close to 100%. As the school year nears once again.
Even off for a week.
Teachers are going to go back to their giving spirit, which for the most includes delving into their wallets for classroom supplies. Are we all in the same boat with our spouses?
Yeah, but it's also a write-off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but I think it's only a $500 max write-off.
I think it was $400.
Or $400.
What do you guys
Either way, we're doing some illegal activity with that extra $100.
You just said that on the air for everybody.
Yum.
I challenge these. Yeah, I'm going to say it. Boo-hoo stories by teachers who come out and start talking about the suffering that they have to go through. Like when teachers talk about having to take work home to grade it, I have taken work home.
Isn't that.
But I have most of the things that educators complain about en masse are not unique to teachers. The specifics are, I have not taken papers home to grade, but I have absolutely had jobs that required a deadline to be done, and you had to work in the hours that existed before that deadline to get the job done. When it comes to spending money on stuff for your profession, I have had to spend money on things for my profession. I can write them off to a certain extent. These headphones that I'm wearing, and I try not to have to buy it. This is like my third pair of headphones I've had since 2014. But these were not cheap, and I invested in something that was for my job. If you are having to spend hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of dollars on your students, then I think that we need to look at how we're spending money in the school district with the money that's coming in to make sure that the students are prioritized. I'm just saying, because what we have is teachers who have big hearts and who invest in their classrooms because they care about their kids. But sometimes I wish that the pressure were put on other places to make sure that the funds are allocated appropriately. And I don't always think that that's the case, because most of those conversations and negotiations of money and the way it's spent are political or based from teacher union lobbying.
Yeah. And in this particular instance, my wife aside, because she teaches at a private school, but we're talking about publicly funded people. So we're already paying, and now they're having to pay extra. Where's all that money going? Are you paying less taxes than you used to or more? Because the answer is usually more, but they're having to spend more because they have less available to them than they did. So we're spending more and they're getting less. $820 on average each teacher spends on their student supplies per year.
Is that something that you relate to in your house? $820 spent on supplies for your classroom? I mean, Brad and I are married to people who teach in the public school. In public schools, you teach in a private parochial. Your wife does, but I mean, it's different to me if you're talking about buying supplies for yourself to do your job. If you're buying yourself like an expensive planner or calendar system, or subscribing to some, for instance, my husband subscribes to Babbel, I think it is, one of the services that could help him learn better Spanish, because he teaches in an area where there's a lot of Spanish-speaking students and families. He's paying for that for himself, and that's not cheap per se, but the $800?
That's what it says. When they say that, I don't know if they're talking about software that is necessary that they're not getting from school. I'm thinking more like markers and stuff.
Yeah.
Which
papers, pencils.
Yeah, that is stuff we buy.
Yeah.
Not that our school is great. Like, they try so hard and they try to keep tuition low.
But it's
limited. And so it's an independent school. When it comes to taxpayer stuff, I'm like, really? We're paying all these taxes and you don't have chalk?
Well, I've worked in both public and private.
Use chalk?
I've worked in both public and private schools, and the access to materials such as paper and markers and stuff like that is worlds different. Like, if I needed something, I could just go down and get it when I worked at the public school. The private school, I had to buy it because they just didn't have the overhead to get it.
Right.
Yeah. I just think that, yes, I know the teachers spend, and also may identify a child in their classroom that they want to give to because they have the heart for it. But it's the $800. Wow.
That's a lot.
know.
That's a lot.
Yeah. Let's come back and do these. Well, can I do one more?
Well, you want to hold it for 2 o'clock in case we run out of stuff to talk about?
I do. I kind of do.
I'm just back from vacation, folks. I'm trying white knuckle to get acclimated in all of the news that has been hitting hard. When we come back, Steve Moore is going to be with us. He is the Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation. We're going to talk to him about the housing market, the direction it's going, and how does this work for middle America? Steve Moore on the Andy Frey Show when we come back.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
When you have Rhino Shield on your house, it does a couple of things for you. It beautifies the house, and it protects it from the harshest elements. And boy, do we see those here in the greater St. Louis area. You get instant curb appeal. It will stick to anything. Rhino Shield is the answer, no matter whether you're painting a home or a church or a business or a condo, because it's 100% waterproof. It takes care of the outdoor maintenance on whatever is on the outside of your home. The brick, the block, aluminum, steel, stucco. They can put this on with the 2 to 3 coat process. They're there about a week, and they do a great job. A lot of businesses have done it in the area. Several Firestones have done that. Vantage Credit Union over the years. Harlan Packaging down in DeSoto. Call Darren today and schedule your free estimate. 877-25-RHINO. Easy to remember phone number. Or go online today at 877-25rhino.com.
When you are looking to build a home on the Illinois side of the river, I got to tell you about C.A. Jones. When you go to cajonesinc.com, cajonesinc.com, I like to say, cajonesinc.com, you are going to understand how C.A. Jones builds beautiful homes. They have inventory of newly built homes on their website at cajonesinc.com right now. So if you've been looking for a house and you haven't found the right one yet, how about a new build from C.A. Jones? Their inventory online at cajonesinc.com. But they improve lives through quality homes and community involvement. They give back to the communities they build in. They are very generous with their time. They care about those communities and making sure that they are really, really wonderful places to live, aside from the homes that they are building. They have move-in ready homes, go under contract with only $1,500 in earnest money. You are there ready to go in a beautiful home. If you are looking to build, the customizations that you can make right now on their website are fantastic. You can get started by visiting them online at cajonesinc.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Heading to prison. I'm Kevin Uretsky, Fox News. Former Minneapolis police officer Tu Tao sentenced to 4 years and 9 months today on state charges for his actions during the May 2020 killing of George Floyd.
Tao used his chance to make a statement in open court to express faith through Bible commentary. Judge Peter Cahill.
To be perfectly honest, after 3 years of reflection, I was hoping for a little more remorse, regret, acknowledgement of some responsibility, and less preaching.
Fox's Evan Brown reporting. Former President Trump has until 5 p.m. today to respond to a federal protective court order related to his indictment over alleged election interference. Team Trump's still fired up about the indictment, saying it's only about partisan politics.
It's no longer about the law. It's no longer about punishing criminals that are actually doing crimes. It's about people getting a headline, and there's no better way to get a headline than to go after Donald Trump.
Trump spokesman Alina Habba on Fox and Friends. House Republicans claim a 2011 letter from then Vice President Biden to his son's former business partner, Devin Archer, show that the president's been lying about being involved in Hunter Biden's business dealings.
When Joe Biden was vice president, that's when they set up all these shell companies. That's when they set up all these accounts to move money through to conceal it from the taxpayer. Joe Biden has been lying the entire time.
Florida Republican Byron Donalds on Fox Business's Varney and Company. The president hosting the World Series champion Astros at the White House today. He praised the team for their work on and off the field, especially after the Uvalde school massacre.
You're an impressive group of men. I mean, you really are. From management on down to ownership, I mean, you care.
And the president is a Phillies fan. That's who's the Astros beat in the World Series. On Wall Street, stocks are up over 400 points. America's listening to Fox News.
36,000, 25, 1. These are the three numbers to remember to get the visibility and control you need instantly. 36,000. That's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. 25. NetSuite turns 25 this year. That's 25 years of helping businesses close their books in days, not weeks. 1. Because NetSuite is everything you need all in one place. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist for free at netsuite.com/today.
Wake up, people. You're optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep, and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better, night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
And now save up to $500 on the new Sleep Number Smart Bed, plus free home delivery when you add an adjustable base. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Great temperatures our way this week, day and night. Partly to mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. A little windy from the northwest. 79, 80 for the high. 70s for evening plans. Crystal clear skies. A dip down to 62. Tuesday, lots of sunshine. Beautiful day. 85 degrees. The unsettled day this week is Wednesday. Periods of showers and a couple of thunderstorms, mainly in the 70s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Mark Cox here. Join me, Annie Frey, and Mark Reardon, along with Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw of the Retirement Advisory Group for the next Protecting Your Retirement educational event. It's Tuesday, August 8th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Seats are limited, so go online to retirementkey.com. Here's Thomas with more.
Are you getting near retirement and wondering if you'll be able to live the same lifestyle as you are now? Do you worry about losing your nest egg in the next big market correction? Did you know if you're 59 and a half or older, you can roll over your company retirement plan tax-free to protect your nest egg and provide more income than most investment options? Would you like to know why linking to the market is safer than owning the market? You'll get all the answers and more. If you're 59 and a half or older, you don't want to miss this event.
Protect your retirement nest egg. Join the official financial advisors of my show, Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw, Tuesday, August 8th at the Frontenac Hilton at 6:30. Go online to retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Let's talk about your home and how Air Comfort Service can help you make sure that your comfort zone is always within reach. Specifically parts of your home that you don't like because it's not comfortable. I had this instance in my home where the basement, which is partially finished, so where the kids spend a lot of time, would get incredibly cold. And then on the second floor where we sleep, it would be hot. And you would have this imbalance of temperature, and it made it very hard and expensive to heat and cool our home. Air Comfort Service came over and helped us with this. Air Comfort Service heating, cooling, and insulation has been solving comfort problems for over 50 years. And a house is usually the most expensive purchase we make. So you want to make sure that all areas of your home are comfortable and usable and livable. If you have a hot second or third floor, if you have a freezing basement, or it's too hot or too cold in a room or an addition, you can contact Air Comfort Service and they can help you. Leaky ductwork could be the culprit, which an AeroSeal duct sealing can fix. I had it done in my house and immediately saw an amazing difference. Our ability to heat and cool our home evenly and not have to pay extra to heat the upstairs in the winter or to cool the upstairs in the summer. Amazing. Reach out to Air Comfort Service and get an AeroSeal duct sealing appointment scheduled today. 314-513-0091, aircomfortservice.com.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
If you need a new bath or shower, call my friends at Bath Fitter of St. Louis. Mark Cox here. We love our new shower and tub enclosure. It looks fantastic. No demolition, no mess, and a lifetime guarantee. Right now, they're having a sale for 20% off up to $1,000 or zero interest until 2028. That's 5 years. Call 636-338-1648. That's 636-338-1648. Bath Fitter of St. Louis.
If you need to sell your home to buy a new home, it's never been more important to have an experienced negotiator you can trust. You need my friends Mark and Neil Gelman of eXp Realty on your side, fighting for every dollar for you. Check out thegelmanteam.com. That's thegelmanteam.com.
Sex trafficking occurs every day right here in Missouri. Healing Action is providing life-saving resources to survivors in our community. Kim St. here. 97.1 is supporting Healing Action as part of our Conservatives Care mission. Learn more at 971talk.com/care.
This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Don't get me wrong, I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
First of all, it's very odd timing. Their announcement surrounding that downgrade, and just for everybody's benefit, that's one notch below perfect. AAA is perfect. It's only happened twice in U.S. history. The last time it happened was in the wake of the financial crisis, which sort of made sense when Standard & Poor's did it. Why did Fitch do it? They're basically waving their finger at government dysfunction and the fact that our GDP, is to our debt to GDP ratio looks more like a third world country than a first world country. But they're really pointing their finger at government dysfunction. And it's very interesting because both Republicans and Democrats are sort of using it right now as a political weapon. The fact of the matter, it's on all 435 members of the House to do something about government spending, because if you read between the lines, that's what Fitch is commenting on.
So there you have Madison Ventures Plus managing director Mitch Rochelle talking about the downgrade, the Fitch's credit downgrade. Is that something, if you're me, you're like, oh my gosh, that sounds bad. I would hate to have my credit downgraded. What does the United States think about that? Well, we go to our friend Steve Moore to talk to us about it. Distinguished fellow in economics at the Heritage Foundation and author of the book Govzilla: How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. Steve, welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Good to talk to you. This credit downgrade, what do you think about it?
Hi, Annie. Good to be with you. Well, look, I mean, I think it's a lot of, first of all, I do think we have a debt crisis in this country. You and I have been talking about this for the last couple of years on this show. We've had the most financially reckless president, maybe in American history, with $6 or $7 trillion added to our debt in just 30 months. So that's a pretty scary thing because debts do eventually have to be paid back. Do I think our debt would ever be downgraded? No. I think it's a kind of a scare tactic that these credit union rating agencies make. The crisis will come in the form of a kind of financial crisis. It's not the full faith and credit. I want to make sure that your listeners understand this. The full faith and credit the United States government stands behind the bonds. So the bonds will be repaid. It's just that we might have major other problems like the runaway inflation that we had in the first 2 years of the Biden administration. So we better do something about this. Just in the last 12 months, the United States government borrowed $2.1 trillion more. That added that to our $31 trillion of debt. And incidentally, that people might be, wait, what is Steve Moore talking about? Joe Biden saying he cut $1.7 trillion out of the deficit. I don't know. That must be some kind of new math, Annie.
Yeah, some funny Bidenomics math. I'm looking here at Fox Business, and there's a story, and it says the monthly cost for a potential home buyer has surged nearly 20% compared with a year ago as prices remain elevated. I keep hearing, relentlessly to the point where, like, okay, we get it. You want Bidenomics to be a thing. They're trying to name this thing that we're all experiencing. So I think I'm going to name 20% surge in my home costs Bidenomics.
Yeah, I don't understand why the president in the last couple of weeks has been running around the country saying, "Oh, look, we're such a huge success." We do have a low unemployment rate. That is a good thing, and there are jobs, but the jobs aren't paying as much as they used to because the inflation has outpaced the wages and salaries that people make. And so, especially when you look at the essentials that you have to buy, which are rising a lot more than 4%, they're rising at, food prices. If you look at airline tickets, if you look at the cost of a rent, you mentioned the price of buying a new home, which is up 20% because of the higher mortgage rates. So we're not, I think that the inflation problem is a lot worse. And incidentally, where I live, I don't know what it is in the St. Louis area, but where I live, gas is now back over $4 a gallon. So it looks like any temporary decline in the gas price is back up. And don't forget, Annie, that it was $2.39 a gallon when the President Trump left office.
Yeah, it's about $3.70 or so in Illinois, where I live, and in Missouri here, it's usually about 20 or 30 cents cheaper, but still in the like the $3.50 range. And that's one of the questions I was going to ask you about. We're speaking with Steve Moore right now, because a lot of this stuff, credit ratings and blah blah blah, this is higher level economic stuff that people who've been paying attention for a long time might lean into a little bit, but there are going to be Gen Z voters and millennial voters who are paying attention to this stuff for the first time. And I feel like the Bidenomics pitch on Joe Biden and the administration's part is to try to sell something to people who don't want to dig very deep. How is Bidenomics affecting younger people in this country today?
Well, let's say you're somebody, in your late 20s, maybe early mid-30s. You're, starting to think about maybe buying a house. And I think I bought my first home with my wife. I think I was 31. Those prices that you just mentioned with the higher mortgage rates. Let's not forget the mortgage rate was 3% when Trump left office. Now it's over 7% in most markets. That adds significantly that can add, let's say you're buying a median value home, which is about a little under $400,000. You're going to pay an extra about $50,000 on that house because of the higher mortgage payments.
I'm looking too here on Fox Business, and I want to ask about the sunsetting of the Trump tax cuts, because I think this is something that does not get talked about. The economy as a whole isn't being talked about as much as it should be, as a very huge factor in this election that's coming up, because there's so much other drama surrounding it. But you had a lot to do with those Trump tax cuts and the Trump tax plan. What is upon American taxpayers should these Trump tax cuts not get extended?
What we did is several things. We reduced our corporate tax rate because we were the highest corporate tax rate in the world, and the other countries were laughing behind our back, and they were stealing our jobs because they charged lower taxes. And they, Mexico or China or India would say, hey, you can pay a 15% tax if you come here versus say 35% in the United States, and sometimes as high as 40%. So, businesses were leaving. And so we cut that tax rate. And then we also told businesses, if you bring the factories and the capital back to the U.S., we'll only charge you a small tax. And all of a sudden, like $1 trillion came back to the United States. That's why we had all the economic boom under Trump. So the Trump tax cuts were highly, highly effective in terms of rejuvenating the economy. Let's not forget, before COVID hit, remember, Annie, we had the best economy like in the history of the country.
Yeah.
in the January of 2020. So those tax cuts worked. The Democrats want to dramatically raise virtually every tax rate, the corporate tax rate, the capital gains tax. They want to tax unrealized capital gains on farmers, on ranchers, on people who own stock. So if you own, let's say, $300,000 worth of Apple stock, and maybe you bought it for $50,000, you'd have to pay a tax on it, even though you don't have the money to pay the tax because you still own the stock. These are crazy ideas, And if they happened, I think they would torpedo the economy for sure. And so that's what we're up against.
Last question before we let you go. Steve Moore joining us right now, the Distinguished Fellow in Economics at Heritage Foundation. Should a Republican or even Donald Trump win election and take office in January of 2025, how immediate would American taxpayers feel the benefit of a dramatic change in that office?
It's so funny because last weekend when Trump was in Iowa for the convention, I flew with him out there on his plane, and we talked for about 45 minutes. And I asked President Trump that very question, and you know what he said?
What? Immediately.
6 months. He said, "Give me 6 months."
That's great. I mean,
I'll turn it around in 6 months. You know what? I believe him because he's done. He did it. He already. We're not taking a gamble here. He was president in 2017, and remember how he fixed the economy from the mess of the Obama years. So I have full confidence that he would be able to. And I don't always agree with everything Trump says or does. He knows that, but he is a businessman. He knows how to run things. I think the only business that Joe Biden knows how to do is the business he does with Hunter Biden.
Yeah, he doesn't even know what he's doing there. I do understand that. I wish Donald Trump would get on that message because I think that would resonate with a lot of voters right now. And it's good to hear him say that he's got that 6-month plan for the American people. Steve Moore, thanks for being with us today. Always great to talk to you.
Okay, Annie, have a great week.
Yep.
Take care.
You as well. Bye-bye. He is the Distinguished Fellow in Economics at the Heritage Foundation. His book, Govzilla, How the Relentless Growth of Government is Devouring Our Economy and Our Freedom. If you want to learn about the things that a distinguished difference between how Republicans and Democrats view the role of government, a book like Steve Moore's book is going to help you learn about that, because the idea that there are problems that exist that the right and the left both identify. You could say the healthcare system. Gosh, that healthcare system needs a lot of work. Homelessness. You could see that homelessness problem plaguing different areas of St. Louis right here, the education system, the southern border, all of these different things that exist in our country with the everyday lived American experience. Republicans and Democrats alike will identify these problems, and we'll be able to look at them and say, yes, that's a problem. The solution is where Republicans run as fast as they can to the right and the Democrats run as fast as they can to the left, because they're trying to figure out what the solution is. The good news is that in many cases, we do identify problems together, bipartisanly, looking at issues that are plaguing this country, and we say, this does need to be fixed. The dramatic and drastic difference that should exist between Democrats and Republicans is who solves the problem. If the American people are entrusted with the resources to solve the problem and the removal of overregulation from government structures who want to consolidate power in places within Washington, D.C. and Jefferson City and Springfield, Illinois, if the people are entrusted with the ability to solve these problems and honestly compelled to solve these problems, which is where I think Republicans kind of suck these days, is understanding that the responsibility exists on your shoulders to identify problems that exist and go out and do something about it, to get involved in a church community that you might already be involved in and say, what can we do to help people? To get involved in a community organization if you're not a religious person, or if you're not, maybe you're already doing something with your church, and say, what can we do to help? Because what the Democrats do is say, nobody's going to show up to help you, but the government will. The government is ready to do that. Let's create a program. Let's create some sort of assistance that provides a handout to help these people in their time of need. And that handout might be the only thing that helps those people when the Republicans sit on their duffs and don't do anything about it. Lazy Republicans create government programs by abstaining from the process. And we all need to see and identify with our eyes and not cover our eyes and our ears to the problems that exist as tax-paying American citizens, and understand that we do have an obligation to help our neighbors in need. And that we're smart enough to understand that just being lazily charitable by saying, I'll pay extra taxes, I'll invest in this, I'll vote for the guy who wants to raise taxes because I care and I've been blessed with the means to help others. If you are blessed with the means to help others and you're waiting on elected Democrats to solve these problems, folks, these Democrats need these problems to exist in order to get elected cycle after cycle. If you want to actually share the good news, the message of small government Republicans, then you need to be a part of the solution yourself. Get off your butt and go do something. I say that to myself as well. There's always more that we can each individually do. What's your passion project? Is it pro-life issues? Is it homelessness? Is it veterans? Is it underprivileged youth that are stuck in school districts that are confined by zip codes, that are taken over by state control on the school board system because they can't get it together in their local community and those kids are stuck there? Is there anything you can do to help those kids? Are you a school choice advocate on Twitter? Because that doesn't do much. We have to, as conservatives, as Republicans, actually invest our time and efforts into the idea of small government, because small government, the absence of big government programs, doesn't mean that the problem gets fixed. The absence of putting the responsibility on big government means the responsibility's on you. What are you going to do? What am I going to do? It's a question I will continue to ask myself, and I encourage you to join me in doing so. Let's take a quick break. We'll get Ryan Wiggins back in the studio for the rest of the Annie Frey Show. And pretty soon, not this break, but the next one, another riveting time check by Ryan Wiggins. I can only hope. Stick around. Vote in the YouTube live chat poll. We'll discuss when we come back. Is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never a choice? The Annie Frey YouTube channel. Go vote. We'll be back in a minute.
This is the Annie Frey Show. Find the podcast, on-demand audio, and more at 971talk.com/Annie.
Got to tell you, I love walking through a Schnucks or a Dierberg's and seeing Andrea's steak sauce on the end caps or in the seasonal section, which this time of year you will see often because it is grilling time. Man, it feels like now that we're in August, oh, we're almost done with summer. No, we still got like at least 2 months of summer as far as weather goes. So take advantage of your evenings being the nicest part of the day and get a bottle of Andrea's steak sauce. It will make grilling more enjoyable because you don't have to work so hard to make a fantastic meal. And if you don't tell anybody that you're using Andrea's sauce, they'll be like, ooh, wow. And you say, wow, I'm just really good at this, I guess. Andreas.com is where you can also order it. We've talked about the fact that if you're outside of the St. Louis area, that is a great place to get it, because if you try to go to Amazon or some other website, they upcharge like crazy. People realize that people want it outside of the St. Louis area, and they charge a lot. But you can get it for just about the same price at Andreas.com as you can at Schnucks or Dierberg. So pick up a bottle, and while you're there, check out their barbecue sauce, their salad dressing. They're all really top-of-the-line stuff. Andreas.com.
Back to doing what I love and more. Thanks to the Good Feet store.
This planet is so incredibly beautiful that I can't get enough of it. I did 950 miles on the Pacific Crest Trail, and Good Feet was with me all the way. Your passion's important, but if your body aches and if your heel feels like you've got a nail stuck in it and won't come out, trust me, it's going to wear you down. The Good Feet store knew what they were talking about and took the time to really dial in what I needed. I hiked 84 miles in the Himalaya, and to do it pain-free. You think I'm not grateful for Good Feet?
Get ready for your summer adventures. Come to the Good Feet store today. Call 314-317-9494 or visit one of our 2 locations, on Olive west of I-270 in the Plaza with Subway, or in Shiloh, Illinois across from Dierberg's.
Thanks to the Good Feet store.
Individual results may vary. Consult your physician for medical conditions. Visit the website goodfeetstlewis.com. You deserve comfort in your life. Come in for your free test walk today.
I'm getting vaccinated with Prevnar 20.
So am I, because I'm at risk for pneumococcal pneumonia.
If you're 19 or older with chronic conditions like asthma, diabetes, COPD, or heart disease, or are 65 or older, you are at increased risk for pneumococcal pneumonia. Ask your doctor or pharmacist about Prevnar 20, pneumococcal 20-valent conjugate vaccine. It can help protect you against pneumococcal pneumonia in just 1 dose. Even if you've already been vaccinated with other pneumonia vaccines, Prevnar 20 may help provide added protection. Prevnar 20 is approved for adults to help prevent infections from 20 strains of the bacteria that cause pneumococcal pneumonia. Continued approval may depend on a supportive study. Don't get Prevnar 20 if you've had a severe allergic reaction to the vaccine or its ingredients. Adults with weakened immune systems may have a lower response to the vaccine. Side effects include pain and swelling at the injection site, fatigue, headache, muscle, and joint pain. For full prescribing information, please call 1-855-213-2138 or visit Prevnar20.com.
Prescriptions require an online consultation with a healthcare provider who will determine if appropriate. Restrictions apply. See website for details and important safety information. Subscription required. Price varies based on product and subscription plan.
Hey guys, did you know there's a generic form of Viagra that works just the same, but is 95% cheaper? And you can get it online? Just go to 4hims.com/radio. Through Hims, you'll get a free medical consultation, discreet shipping if prescribed, a 100% online process, and trusted generic alternatives to the name brands to treat ED at up to 95% off. That's right, the same active ingredient as the brand name for 95% less. It's the same ED medication, still prescribed by a licensed medical provider, but with zero copay, no expensive appointments, and no awkward face-to-face conversations. To start your free online visit, you need to go to this exclusive address, 4hims.com/radio. That's 4hims.com/radio for your free online visit. FORHIMS.com/RADIO.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Save up to 20% on a new HVAC system when you bundle it with attic insulation. 9 out of 10 homes are under insulated. For a free estimate on attic insulation, visit aircomfortservice.com.
The Mark Reardon Show.
I'm not the biggest David Brooks fan, but he had a column in the New York Times last week about the elite class that really struck a chord with me. We'll talk about it 4:25 Monday afternoon.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Cheer. Rihanna. Good girl going bad. Take 3. Action.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Clouds in my stones. Let it rain. I hydroplane in the bank. Coming down at the Dow Jones. When the clouds come, we go.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
In anticipation for precipitation, stack chips for the rainy day. Jay, Rain Man is back with Little Miss Sunshine. Rihanna, where you at?
You have my heart, and we'll never be worlds apart. Maybe in magazines, but you still
Mike Pence will be one of our best witnesses at trial. I read his book very carefully. And if he testifies consistent with his book, then President Trump will be acquitted.
What is Mike Pence doing? It's hard to figure it out.
He's just hanging out, trying to make sure there's no flies on his head.
It's uncomfortable to watch people. It's uncomfortable to watch people have a different perception of themselves than everybody else does.
That's funny because he is seemingly unaware that he has no chance.
He is a pre-Donald Trump Republican frontrunner.
Yeah.
Not in this world, and not when you are adjacent to Donald Trump. And part of the testimony against Donald Trump in the J6 stuff is how people are like, hang Mike Pence, and Donald Trump was unbothered.
Yeah, even if he were to do the Chris Christie thing, he would have a lane. I don't know that it's a winning lane, but it would be a lane. He's not doing that either.
If Republican voters were robots, they might consider Mike Pence.
Yeah, he's the Al Gore of Republicans.
It just makes no sense. There's no lane, and I like Mike Pence. I am a Mike Pence fan as a person and politician. And if we were not in the climate we were in right now, I'd have no problem with Mike Pence being the president of the United States. But this puzzle piece does not fit into this puzzle, and there's no possible way to make it happen.
If you were to come to me and say, Ryan, I need you to vote,
Ryan, I need you to vote.
But you're not voting for president.
Yeah.
You're voting for who you want to watch your kids while you go on a date Friday night.
Sure.
I'd say, I think maybe Mike Pence.
Yeah.
Maybe Tim Scott. I don't know. Nikki Haley might be all right. It's not going to be Joe Biden. I know that. But I'd probably lean on Mike Pence for that role. For nothing else, though, would I vote for him right now.
Do kids like ice cream?
They do, but they don't like the way Joe eats it. If I had to poll my kids,
I know you love the poll.
I'd show them video of all the candidates eating ice cream, and I don't think they'd pick Joe Biden.
It's really when you're like, do you want to get ice cream? Your first question isn't, well, how do the people I'm going with eat their ice cream?
Yeah, it's how much of it can I get and how many Sour Patch Kids on it.
Ew. What? Sour Patch
not
Kids
for
on
me.
ice cream?
For my kids. That they
God,
want. They
no.
don't care.
It is an abomination to put anything gummy on ice cream, but that is how you know when you're no longer a kid, is you've determined that gummy worms don't belong in ice cream. You're like, I'll just take the Oreo.
Well, that's a good barometer because I just crossed that a couple years ago.
Was it when you got diagnosed with diabetes?
Yeah, it was about then because I used to put gummies every time I go to Cold Stone. I'd be like, you know what? If I put gummies on that thing, they freeze and then you chew them longer.
Well, you're a weirdo about gummies anyway.
I know. I love gummies. But I have realized in my older age and my wisdom that it's just not the best taste for a dish.
It's terrible.
It's not. It's just not great.
Sour Patch gummies?
But Sour Patch, now my kids are in the phase right now where we limit the amount of candy and everything that they get in a given day.
Wasn't that kind of
So
hypocritical?
yeah. So they view ice cream as an opportunity to just load up everything they can. They're like, okay, then I want
Who
M&Ms
wants-
and Sour Patch Kids.
But no.
And caramel syrup.
M&Ms, caramel syrup, whipped cream, cherries, cookie dough. These things all go together in the same ice cream dish.
Yeah.
It would be excessive, but when you're a kid, that's just kind of the fantasy you live in. Sour Patch Kids? Nuh-uh.
Yeah, I tried eating one off of my kids' ice cream just because I was like, oh, I'm going to try that.
Immediate regret.
It wasn't good. Frozen
Why
sour
do you say
gummy.
why do you say it wasn't good?
Because
you've fallen into something.
I like Sour Patch Kids enough, especially the watermelon ones.
Do you
that
like
I could-
lasagna?
I know where this is going.
Do you?
Not with ice cream, I don't.
Exactly.
I like bacon, though, and bacon goes well with ice cream. What do you say about that?
It can.
With Sour Patch Kids, they're both candy.
Do you ever have sour bacon?
No, not really.
Not yet.
Unless it's gone bad.
Sour Patch. What about gummies on ice cream, Brad?
No, I think you made a great point there because I used to like, what'd they call it, earthworms or whatever, where it was
Dirt worms.
Dirt worms or dirt cake or whatever.
I used to like
Delicious.
that, and I also used to like the bubblegum ice cream. And then like
That's wrong, too.
There comes a certain age where you're just like,
That's not right.
no,
This isn't right. These are just things that I like on a list in one bowl.
You know, which is actually not that bad. You know what I really like, though? I really like the evolution of where desserts have gone in the last roughly decade, especially in the last 5 years.
Stop being pensive about
Where
this. Put your eyebrows back where they belong.
They've now discovered that if you buy a bag of Rolos, for instance, that could be a dessert by itself, but you can make a dessert out of Rolos. Or I've seen
Brad,
recently,
don't look at me like I know what he's talking about.
It's making desserts out of things that are already desserts. I think I'm a fan of this.
This is new?
Oh, yeah. I went to a party like within the last couple of years where they put the base of the dish was ice cream sandwiches. And then they made a dish on top of the ice cream sandwiches.
I saw one of those.
I'm like, this is incredible.
With
The ice-
Oreos.
yeah. The ice cream sandwich itself would have been fine with me. But you have gone a step beyond and really impressed Ryan Wiggins.
Donald Trump is your first choice, isn't he?
Donald Trump is my first choice because I just referred to myself in the third person.
It's just, he likes things and he likes a lot of them.
Huge.
It's huge.
Huge.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the greatest ever.
People tell me.
Put it on a coffee mug.
Sour Patch. Do you do anything gummies on ice cream?
No.
But you remember the time where the dirt cake or the dirt and worms.
Yep, when that was a thing. But I only wanted like one or two.
But if you take the gummy worms out of the dirt cake experience,
then it's just Oreos on ice cream.
Delicious.
Agreed.
Well, I'm glad we solved that one.
I've never been a big fan. I think Dirt and Worms came up after I was moving out of that phase a little bit.
Oh, man. It was the birthday treat I brought to school every year.
Man, it just, I don't know if it maybe just didn't mesh. I don't like the two tastes. I like ice cream with gummy worms
The
for a long
dirt
time.
and the worms?
Yeah, I don't like the Oreo and the gummy together. Something about that didn't work for me. But ice cream and
It's
gummy
the
did.
gummy.
Yeah. No, the ice cream and gummy did work for me for a while because the texture would become so hard that it would take you so long to eat it that you was like you're getting an extra dessert. Once I realized that I was 38 and that I could buy a dessert anytime I wanted because I was an adult, I went, you know what? Maybe I don't need this anymore.
Have you ever bought a birthday cake when it wasn't a birthday? Have you ever gotten like an ice cream cake from Dairy Queen, or have you ever gotten something like that because you just wanted to eat it?
Are you asking, have I ever been depressed, went home in a prom dress and just bought myself a cake and ate it in front of the TV?
I was just going to say, no, that is not at all what I was asking about, but now I am.
Well, the answer to the question is no.
Absolutely not.
Obviously, no. That's a crazy thing to
if I did,
suggest.
I'd never talk about it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's not something you cry into.
Have you ever bought a cake that was maybe something that was created for a specific celebration and been like, no, I just want to eat some cake, or maybe you're going to so why is this so funny?
Because you reminded me of something I did.
Which is?
I was going to, I think at our church group one night about 4 years ago, I was designated the dessert person. Everybody's supposed to bring a different side dish or main dish, and I was supposed to get the dessert that night.
What'd you get?
So I went to Walmart and I saw they had one of those day-old cakes that was, you know, it had nothing on it, but it was designed to be
like Happy
a
Birthday
personalized
Ryan.
cake. And so I instead of just buying the cake and taking it to MC and being like, MC is the missional community. Whenever I took it to the MC, instead of just leaving it blank and saying, "Oh, this is a day-old cake," I went and had them put Happy Bat Mitzvah Tammy on it. Just because I really enjoyed that. I don't know if anybody else did.
I was just going to say, how was that received?
Not super well.
Did they eat the cake?
I think so. I think I probably laughed enough that I made people like think, oh, this
We
must
should
be
laugh
funny.
to make
like,
Ryan
let's
feel
make
okay
this,
about himself?
Let's make this comfortable for everyone. And
Were you
let
wearing
Ryan
a
know he
prom
did a
dress
good
at the
job.
time?
No, just regular.
Just a regular dress.
I was a little bit more formal than it should have been that night. I'll tell you that, because it was well, it came past my knees. Happy Bat Mitzvah Tammy.
You are ridiculous. You know that, right? What am I supposed to say next? I forgot how to do this. How did I do this in the first place?
I don't know.
How did I get to here? Why am I not in Florida? Can I leave? Can I go now? Do I still need to make money to go back to Florida? I have all these questions.
Tell me honestly, either one of you. Honestly, tell me.
Ryan, I only ever tell you honestly. Don't act like that. You need like a special request.
How did we transition from, I think we were talking about Hunter Biden, but I'm not sure.
We were talking about Mike Pence.
Mike Pence, that's what, how do we transition from Mike Pence
to Tammy's bat mitzvah?
To get it went from there to gummy worms, but I don't remember the bridge.
Not even going to try to bring it back.
I don't think you should. Anyway, maybe it was about Mike Pence babysitting my kids. Was that it?
No, I don't think so.
No? Well, then I don't remember. You can rewind on the Odyssey app.
Will you draw a map for this segment?
No.
Will you make that your assignment?
Ooh, getting hot in here.
I wish you could see Ryan Wiggins sit back and relax in his chair.
Oh, man. I'm just enjoying that joke that I did 4 years ago that really I thought never really got the credit it deserved.
YouTube live chat poll. Is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never choice? We'll be right back.
You can't see shiny cars.
Hey, Bernie Ferrico here. Over the years, you've heard me talk about lakeside renovation and design. My friends Matt and Dan have been in the business for over 25 years and have done everything on my home, from James Hardy siding, Infinity from Marvin Windows, and even a couple of room additions. These guys are great, and you can trust them with your home. Check out their website to see for yourself all the beautiful work they've done. You can find them online at lakesidrenovationanddesign.com. Be sure to ask about their unbelievable financing options. Lakeside Renovation and Design.
Mark Cox here. Before you sell your home, you should know what it's worth in today's market. Call my friend Gloria Liu. She'll tell you. With 20 plus years of experience, Gloria Liu with Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty has been successfully selling homes in your area for more money than the average agent. Gloria has multiple selling options that give you the power of how and when your home is sold. A few of Gloria's options include bringing multiple cash offers from her substantial pool of investors, a zero commission program, and don't forget Gloria's guaranteed sale program. Why can Gloria guarantee the sale of your home? Because her database of buyers is huge, and she's so confident she can sell your home, she'll put her own money where her mouth is. Call your local real estate expert today. Call Gloria Lou at 314-325-6888. That's 314-325-6888. Or visit GloriaHasTheBuyers.com. That's GloriaHasTheBuyers.com.
Conditions apply. Gloria and seller must agree on price and possession date.
FoleyDentalGroup.com. If you're looking to schedule a dental appointment and you want a dentist you can trust, you can go to the dentists of the Frey family. FoleyDentalGroup.com, F-O-L-E-Y. They have a brand new location that's very simple to get to at 270 and 159 on the Illinois side. Easy to get to from anywhere. And the amount of technology, the advancement of technology that, let's be real, takes away some of the kind of uncomfortability. I don't want to say pain, but you know what it's like to get x-rays and they jam those things in your mouth. At Foley Dental Group, it is not painful at all. They have the ability to just put this thing in and through, like around your teeth, and it creates a perfect picture of your entire mouth. And then they can, from there, determine if you have the start of a cavity, if you have something that maybe is just questionable, if you have a deep cavity that might be into the roots. They know exactly what they're looking at with a very, very top-notch, high-tech picture of your teeth, and they can walk you through the whole process. It is painless. They are the height of technology and the height of customer service, client service. I love them. I'm happy to put my kids in their hands, and myself and my husband as well. Schedule an appointment at 618-288-9670, 618-288-9670. You can find them online at FoleyDentalGroup.com.
Attention taxpayers, ready for some bad news? With $80 billion in new funding from Congress, the IRS has launched their most aggressive hiring campaign ever to ramp up enforcement. If you're ignoring your taxes, don't delay another minute because your paycheck, your bank account, even your home or business could already be at risk. Now, here's the good news. Optima Tax Relief, America's #1 tax relief firm, can get to work immediately, helping to protect you from the IRS. A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, their tax attorneys and licensed professionals are experts at resolving tax problems. Let them help determine if you qualify for the Fresh Start Initiative or other powerful IRS tax assistance programs. Take control. Call Optima Tax Relief now for a free consultation.
Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. Optima Tax Relief. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Mark Cox here. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how to link to the market without the risk. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go online to retirementkey.com.
Welcome to this time check. You have come a long way, baby, and you have made it. The YouTube live chat poll of the day is Donald Trump darn it. Is Donald Trump your first choice? Look, it's choice and Trump. Choice. Donald Trump. Your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never a choice. We want to know what your choice is in our YouTube live chat poll.
Easy for you to say.
Excellently done, if I might add. 143. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
St. Louis's home for conservative talk.
Awesome. That's what I'm talking about.
97.1 FM Talk.
I look forward to hearing the station all day.
Everyone is welcome.
I wanna be your end game. I wanna be your first string. I wanna be your ATM.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Big reputation, big reputation. Oh, you and me, we got big reputations. And you heard about me. Oh, I got some big enemies.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I can't get enough of Taylor Swift concert shorts and reels wherever I consume them. They're on Facebook a ton. Have you seen any of the stuff from her tour?
Nothing that's really stood out.
Have you?
Not really.
She is selling out the biggest stadiums in the country for 3 and 4 and 5 nights in a row.
Oh, I didn't know that.
It's unbelievable.
I knew she was doing 2 dates at some of them. I didn't know it had gone beyond that.
No, it's going beyond that. She just added like 5 dates in Toronto, which I thought was very interesting because I do also remember seeing the headline last week that Trudeau and his wife are getting a divorce.
Mm-hmm.
Did you cover that extensively?
I did.
Ryan was all over that. He's like, now's my chance.
Wait. with who?
Oh, we'll leave that up to the listeners to decide.
Did you see Trudeau send out a tweet out of a couple weeks ago inviting Taylor Swift to come to Canada?
I did. Yeah, we did. I think that was an X's and O's question.
Just saying. Kind of weird.
Yeah, like he has a chance.
Wait a second.
Ryan's like, not with me in the game.
I can't wait to hear a new breakup song and be like, oh, that one's about Justin Trudeau. Did you know? That one's about the PM.
He's 51.
And she's?
33. It's doable.
Yeah.
That's totally in the...
I'm sure in his opinion it is.
Do you know how tall Taylor Swift is?
6'9".
I hate you.
She's a center.
She's 5'11".
No kidding.
Yeah, she's tall.
No, she's taller than Brad.
And anywho,
many others.
The YouTube live chat poll today: is Donald Trump your first choice, your second choice, your last choice, or never a choice? That last choice option is I'm voting for a Republican, but he's the last Republican I want to vote for. So go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel and cast your vote. It's right there in the live chat portion. We need you to thumbs up the video on YouTube and subscribe and all that stuff. But I'm curious what your thoughts are on the Donald Trump interest level, because I have said from before anybody even announced that I was a big Ron DeSantis fan. I would love to see him become the president. I still would love to see him become the president. I don't think he's running the best campaign that he can be. I don't think that he is I don't think he is the summation of what the Donald Trump campaign is trying to make him out to be. I also think that the vast majority of voting Americans right now don't give a lick about what's going on. The people who are in the game right now, mentally in the game of this presidential primary, are nerds like us.
Yeah, all of us.
I was talking to a friend, a dear friend of mine, and she was visiting me, and I'm going to tell you a quick story. She had her significant other was diagnosed with stage 4 colon cancer. Oh. And young guy our age, stage 4 colon cancer. And she was talking to me about the surgeon that they had to go to. And she said the surgeon was an a-hole. Like the top of the line, like whatever you imagine in your mind as like the epitome of jerk. This guy taught that guy how to be a jerk. And they would go see the surgeon. This is locally. See this surgeon, and the attitude that this guy would have when he would see them specifically, but patients as a whole. It was unbelievable how arrogantly rude he was. And my friend was like, I don't want to be around this guy. I hate this guy. It's already a peak stressful situation when your significant other is going through something that is literally life-threatening. And my friend was talking to people in that orbit and was even in the waiting room one time, sitting next to someone, and they're like, "Oh, who are you?" She made up struck up a conversation with, and they're like, "Oh, we're here to see Dr. So-and-so," and he's like, "Oh, he's isn't he?" And like they bonded over this. And she told me, she goes, "But he's the best in St. Louis, without question. He's the best in St. Louis, so much so that the significant other who had stage 4 colon cancer had gone to, I don't know if I'm getting the details right, but I think 2 other surgeons, and they said, we're not operating on him. We won't do it. It's too far down the road. Go to this doctor, and he is an a-hole. And they had to go through, and they have to suffer through these appointments where the guy is just trying, like, he helps cure people from colon cancer and ruin people's day. That's like this is what this guy is into. Master class. And my friend said he was the best. and he successfully helped her significant other with stage 4 colon cancer, did the surgery, and he's not in remission yet, but he's supposed to be cancer-free.
Oh, that's a great ending to that story.
She's telling me the story. I'm like, it's just like Donald Trump.
Yeah.
It's just like Donald Trump. And she goes, if you ask anybody who knows this person, if you ask anybody, they're all going to say the same thing, that he is a royal patoot. And so I Googled the name. Oh my gosh. One after the other about the bedside manner and everything. But he saves people's lives. He knows how to. Would it be better if he could do his job without being a royal patoot? It would be better. But he's the best at the job. He's the most qualified. And, you know, in this particular story, he was the one willing to do it. He was the one who, when other people said, no, I'm not getting involved in that, he was the one willing to do it. And to me, it was just such a such an interesting analogy to Donald Trump. And my only apprehension about being 100% all in, you know, woo, driving the Trump train here, is that I don't know that enough people aren't going to say, he's too mean to me and he hurts my feelings, and I don't care if the country has stage 4 cancer. I don't want I don't want to be treated that way. That's not the way that I want to have my emotions treated, and that's not the way I want to hear someone talk out loud. And so people aren't going into the waiting room saying, no, we don't want that. We want somebody who's nice to us. If somebody who's nice to us who can't cure the cancer is of no help to the country. So I'm sitting here going, I can handle it. Let me have it. If you need to let me have it, if you're going to say things, if it's going to rub the way I think the situation be handled, if it's going to rub me the wrong way about it, but it's going to save the country for my children, Donald Trump. Win. But Donald Trump needs more than people like me and you who are nerding out on this primary process and can tell you how many indictments have existed or where the states are that the indictments came from and who Devin Archer is. Go ask 100 people in your life who Devin Archer is and see if 10 of them know that name. They probably don't. All of this stuff that's really, truly, valuably important to the future of this country does not matter to most people. And if the person who does get to go pull a lever for somebody doesn't want to have their feelings hurt, so they'll pull the lever for someone else, that still matters. Which is why, speaking to Steve Moore, which is great to have him on the show at 105, Steve Moore is saying that he was just on a plane with Donald Trump last week. For 45 minutes, Steve Moore is saying he had a conversation with Donald Trump on Donald Trump's plane en route to Iowa. Steve Moore says to him, the same question that I asked Steve Moore, how fast can Donald Trump fix the economy in this country? 6 months. 6 months, which means by June of 2025, when you're going on your summer vacations, your personal economy is going to be skyrocketing because we now have proof of what Donald Trump was capable of doing because he did it the first time he took office. And then, seriously, how many of Joe Biden's policies are just to the opposite of what Donald Trump did? We know that Trump can do it. If he gets into office, he is going to set the economy on fire in the most positive way, probably fueled by local oil, and he is going to bring the economy back to where it needs to be with the American people. But he has to win. And I don't think that Donald Trump is the only one who can do it, but I think he would absolutely be the most entertaining to watch.
I mean, your concern about, yes, I'm dying, but how does he make me feel? That's a real one. There are a lot of people who will go, you know what, either I'm going to ignore the fact that I have cancer and pretend like everything's okay, or I'm going to acknowledge that I have cancer, but I just don't like the way the surgeon makes me feel. That's a real concern that people would not actually seek the treatment that they need.
It's insane.
In America in 2024. That is very, very true.
I actually have firsthand experience with that. My cardiologist does not always have the best reviews as far as bedside manner goes, but he's still my cardiologist, and the reason is because he saved my life. It doesn't matter how nice they are to you when you're laying on the operating table and you can hear the catheter buzzing through the little wire that they put in you as they go into your heart to put a stent in or to clear a blockage or something like that. You just want to make sure that the person that's on the other end of that wire knows what they're doing.
It's so simple. It's so incredibly simple. I don't think any candidate who's in the race right now, I will include Joe Biden in this statement. I don't think there's a candidate in the race for president right now who understands the office of the presidency like Donald Trump.
Especially with a track record now, because you have now 4 years of each one of those guys, if it ends up being both of them, that you really can compare and say, well, which one worked?
I can advocate for Donald Trump for president. I can easily do it. But Donald Trump could advocate for himself in such an impactful way if while he is being attacked by this Justice Department, totally agree with that statement, while he is being unfairly pursued by Joe Biden and Merrick Garland's Justice Department, if he would talk about the fact that it would take him 6 months to get the economy back in shape. That's what you do when you're running for office for me. I get it. You don't have to explain to me why Donald Trump is running for office for Donald Trump. I get it, and I kind of love it. But that can't be the sum total of the reason why you pursue that office. I need more from you because your job as president is about me. And it's about you sitting in your cubicle right now or driving in your car or sitting in your home, watching your kids, your grandkids. You are the important person in this equation. You always have been. And the only way you don't become that anymore is when you cede that to somebody else. When you give up that importance to somebody who wants to seek a higher office for power and probably money so that they can consolidate all of that into their own flex. You need to flex. I think that the Republicans have a huge opportunity ahead of themselves. I just want to see voters see who the right surgeon is. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll, 2 o'clock hour in a minute.
Imagine what your backyard could look like once my friends from Chesterfield Fence and Deck have been there. Mark Cox here. Listen, mention my name, mention Mark, and get 48 months interest-free financing on your next outdoor project with Chesterfield Fence and Deck. They've been around for 55 years. They are one of St. Louis' top names in home improvements with a commitment to quality and professionalism. And you know that you have their sign in your yard. It's a sign you have the very best. Locally owned and operated for 55 years. They will come to your house, give you a free estimate at no obligation, free project design as well. They'll take measurements. They'll show you all of their product offerings right there at your house. Or you can go to their showroom if you need that extra inspiration. But they do fences, they do decks, they do custom sunrooms and screen rooms and pergolas. Take advantage of it. A+ rating with the Better Business Bureau. Go online today and check them out at chesterfieldfence.com.
Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance is your solution for your home purchase or your home sale on the Illinois side of the river. She can be a real estate agent for life. Before, during, and after the sale, she is always a source for you that helps you make the right decisions about your home. I've asked her real estate questions myself. She is top-notch when it comes to understanding the current state of the market, and the market's always fluctuating. Inventory is super low. If you've been thinking about selling your home on the Illinois side of the river, call Jen Teskey, RE/MAX Alliance, text them and say, I've been considering. Whether you want to sell your home yesterday or you're thinking maybe the next 6 to 12 months you're looking to sell, you need to have this conversation with Jen Teskey right now. She will position you for the best possibility on high sale and quick sale or whatever your timeline is. Reach out to her at 618-541-1010. Call or text Jen Teskey with RE/MAX Alliance at 618-541-1010. You can find her online at jenteskeyhomes.com.
If we've learned anything from recent news, it's that unexpected things are happening. Your gut tells you there's something very wrong going on, and all the evidence suggests that there is. Government emails are hacked. There's talk of how to fight World War III, and trade of grains and food are being disrupted. Those in charge say everything's fine. Stop noticing, but you know better. It's time to invest in self-reliance and emergency food storage now, more than ever. My Patriot Supply, the nation's largest emergency preparedness company, is the place you can trust. Go to mypatriotsupply.com and secure their best-selling 3-month emergency food kits. Each contains tasty breakfasts, lunch, and dinners, averaging over 2,000 calories per day. Get at least one food kit for each family member. For a limited time, save 25%, plus get free shipping on all their 3-month emergency food kits. Go to MyPatriotSupply.com today. It's time to prepare for what's coming. MyPatriotSupply.com.
KFTK FM Florissant. From the Under Law Injury Lawyers, GetJim.com studio. 97.1 FM Talk. Always live on the free Odyssey app.
Asking for answers. I'm Kevin Uretsky, Fox News. At a hearing today in Escondido, California, Gold Star families calling for accountability for the deaths of 13 American service members during a 2021 suicide bombing at the Kabul airport in Afghanistan. Darren Hoover lost his son, Marine Sergeant Taylor Hoover. This was his message for the Pentagon and the Biden administration.
Admit to your mistakes. Learn from them so that this doesn't happen ever again.
The event being hosted by California Republican Congressman Darrell Issa. Meanwhile, thousands of American troops are now being sent to the Middle East.
Sailors and Marines numbering more than 3,000 arrived in the region on Sunday, according to U.S. Central Command, sailing in on ships carrying various assault aircraft. CENTCOM says Iran has attempted to take control of commercial ships in the area CENTCOM patrols. That prompted Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin to order that a readiness group be established.
Fox's Gernal Scott. Former Minneapolis police officer Tu Tao sentenced to 4 years and 9 months in prison today on state charges. That is the result of his actions in the killing of George Floyd in May of 2020. And more problems for one of the country's biggest poultry businesses.
Tyson Foods, based in Arkansas, says it needs to fix its chicken business, so it will close 4 more plants, one in Indiana, another in Arkansas, and 2 in Mississippi. It will shift production to other facilities by the middle of next year as it works to cut costs.
Fox's Jenny Casola. Tyson lost more than $400 million last quarter. And Hollywood news, director William Friedkin, who won the Best Director Oscar for The French Connection, has died at the age of 87. He also directed The Exorcist. America is listening to Fox News.
36,000, 25, 1. These are the 3 numbers to remember to get the visibility and control you need instantly. 36,000. That's the number of businesses which have upgraded to NetSuite by Oracle, the #1 cloud financial system. 25. NetSuite turns 25 this year. That's 25 years of helping businesses close their books in days, not weeks. 1. Because NetSuite is everything you need all in one place. Right now, download NetSuite's popular KPI checklist for free at netsuite.com/today.
Wake up, people. You are optimizing every waking hour of your life. From carpooling kids, to work, to friends, and everything in between. You have to get sleep, and a bed that can perform as well as you do. Meet the next generation Sleep Number Smart Bed. It effortlessly adjusts to your shape, position, and movements, learning how you sleep, so you learn to sleep better, night after night. Sleep next level, only from Sleep Number.
And now save up to $500 on the new Sleep Number Smart Bed, plus free home delivery when you add an adjustable base. Ends Monday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Great temperatures our way this week, day and night. Partly to mostly cloudy skies this afternoon. A little windy from the northwest. 79, 80 for the high. 70s for evening plans. Crystal clear skies. A dip down to 62. Tuesday, lots of sunshine. Beautiful day. 85 degrees. The unsettled day this week is Wednesday. Periods of showers and a couple of thunderstorms, mainly in the 70s. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
Did you know the IRS is a super creditor? Hi, I'm Lance Drury with the Lance Drury Law Firm. The IRS is the only creditor that can create a bill for you without your permission, then drop the hammer and aggressively collect it by wiping out your bank account, seizing your assets, and levying your wages. No other creditor can do that, and this can all happen without a court approval. If you owe back taxes, you need to be prepared to face the super creditor. Don't just sit back and take it. Fight back. At the Lance Drury Law Firm, we know how to use the laws to your advantage and go toe-to-toe with the IRS. Our office is located right here in St. Louis. Contact the Lance Drury Law Firm today for a free consultation with me, or visit us at lancedrurylaw.com or call 314-260-6120. That's 314-260-6120 to get started.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements.
Now, your Live Nation lineup.
Don't miss these upcoming shows. Billy Joel and Stevie Nicks at GEHA Field at Arrowhead Stadium on August 19th. Guns N' Roses at Busch Stadium on September 9th. Aerosmith will be at the Enterprise Center on October 26th. Metallica at the Dome at America Center for 2 dates, November 3rd and November 5th.
For tickets and info, hit up livenation.com.
The Diamond Shop is easy to shop in Clayton. They've been around since 1910 and family owned and operated for decades and decades. They are there to make sure that you are taken care of through your entire jewelry purchase, whatever that jewelry purchase might be. They have a summer clearance sale right now, up to 70% off select items through August 19th. So if you've been looking for something wonderful, they have 6 months, same as cash. This is a great time to start that Christmas shopping. 140 days until Christmas, folks. I have a countdown on my phone, that and the election, which is way, way, way more than 140 days. If you are looking to make a purchase and you want to go to people who you can trust, who can help navigate, find the perfect piece for you, you're going to find that at the Diamond Shop. It's a summer clearance sale, up to 70% off select items. Go to thediamondshop.net right now and click on the link to become a VIP. It's thediamondshop.com.
Angie makes it easier than ever to connect with skilled professionals to get your home projects done well, from repair to remodel. Book instantly at an upfront price or request quotes from multiple pros. Get started on the app or go to Angie.com. That's ANGI.com.
For a hole in your roof or a whole new roof, Frederick Roofing.
Over 90,000 satisfied customers since 1929. Frederick Roofing, 314-645-2000.
Critical thinking in critical times. This is St. Louis's home for conservative talk. 97.1 FM Talk. Everyone is welcome. This hour of the Annie Frey Show is brought to you by Ruler Foods. Low prices, no coupons. Ruler Foods.
That is exactly what I needed to hear.
Thank God someone here knows what they're talking about.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
All right, you need to take the time and get the full picture.
Come on, turn the radio on. It's Saturday and I won't be long.
Don't get me wrong. I love the ladies. I mean, they rev my engine, but they don't belong in the newsroom. It is Anchor Man, not Anchor Lady.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
Goodness sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. I'm grateful that you are here with us today. I'm back and happy to be here. Spent the last week in Florida with my family on a vacation and some extended family. Had a great time. Lots going on, though. And every time I come back from vacation, I always kind of allude to the same thing. It makes me feel like other folks who get to live their lives outside of this political sphere, and kind of sometimes there are stories that penetrate what you're doing on any given day, and that's kind of what vacation is for me. I did watch more news this past week than I ever have on a vacation before in Florida, but there were several afternoons where I would spend back at the resort with Molly. She needed a nap, or it was raining or something, and so it didn't bother me so much to pop on Fox News and see what was going on.
A week, though, isn't quite enough to really detach from the daily.
Yeah.
I mean, you missed a lot last week. I'm not saying you didn't. But if you're going to remove yourself from the daily news cycle, I think you need more than a week to really do that.
Yeah. And the time that I was in Florida wasn't a full week either. And so I actually spent a lot of this weekend just like totally resting and relaxing. And if I was tired, I let myself just be tired and not overworked and overrun. Because that's generally like this week for me to come back and have as busy of a week as I have right now. Sports are starting back up. School sports are starting back up for the kids. And I've got several things to do with clients. Tomorrow night's the Hell Big event. If you haven't signed up for that yet, I'd love to see you at that. You can go to retirementkey.com to sign up for that. If you have a free night tomorrow night, I'll be there at 6. The event starts at 6:30. It doesn't take long. It's free. And Wednesday night's the Heritage event.
Mm-hmm.
Very excited for that, to see Genevieve Wood and Jim Carafano and Hans von Spakovsky. Busy week. Excited to be back. I do feel more refreshed this time coming back, and I think it's because I bookended a vacation with a weekend, and that helped. But the news cycle was relentless.
Yeah, there's a sense in which I was thinking about this on the way in this morning. I think partially because you were coming back and you had been out for a week, of just thinking I would like to at some point. And I don't know that this is going to happen for me for a long time. Maybe next year if I take a longer vacation, which I'm maybe going to do. I would like to know what an average voter is consuming. You know, does the Devon Archer story break through, or is it generally that the average person does know, wow, there's a lot of this weird corruption stuff going on with Biden, but they don't really know what it is. You know, I just want to know how much that A is breaking through, and B, how much is it affecting a voter? You know, somebody who maybe did vote for Joe Biden in 2020, but not because they loved Joe Biden, but they just didn't want Donald Trump again. They thought that was just a crazy 4 years. Let's try something new. Is this stuff breaking through? I don't know the answer to that, partially because we are reporting on this every day, and partially because I don't know that my mind ever does that. I have a hard time really ever disengaging because I enjoy the news.
Yeah, it's, I guess, a blessing. I'm not even going to call it a curse, but one of the reasons why I'm capable of doing what I do is because if I were not doing a 3-hour-a-day talk radio show in St. Louis, Missouri, I'd still be paying attention. Mm-hmm. Sometimes I wonder if I'd be paying more attention.
Yeah, because then it becomes
possible.
A little bit more of a hobby instead of something that you have to consume and then figure out how to, you know, talk about or make into content.
I always compare, you know, the investment, the time, the energy that we invest in what we do here as like nerdery a little bit. It is. We are kind of nerding out on this, and we nerd out on it so that you don't necessarily have to. And it's another reason why on any given 3-hour show that we do here on 97.1, it's not all going to be all politics all the time, because nobody lives that existence. And I also know that nobody is tuning in to the Annie Frey show so that you can hear what you think. You will hear what I think or what we think, but you will take that and you will add that to your own perspectives and your own opinions. And a lot of people will refine their leftist views based on what we talk about here. That you'll listen into our show, and from that you will go, I understand exactly what she's saying, and that's why I disagree with it. I wish that we could have more conversation moving into the election where we actually discern definitively what our disagreements are. Because right now I think that we could never talk to somebody who's on the other side, and I would presume to know all of the things that you think about all of the issues. But yet, if we have no conversations about that, then how could I possibly know?
Yeah, one of the big ones that I would like to know more about how the left thinks about this issue is the economy. Obviously, we have our thoughts on the way an economy should be run. Not just this one, but really anytime, anywhere an economy is best run, XYZ. Government staying out of it, generally letting the free market take control. We've had a bad economy for the last 2-3 years now. Some of the indicators are decent, but it's also very possible we go into a recession here soon.
Mm-hmm. Isn't it ironic that you're saying that we could go into a recession here soon, and that we had definitively entered a recession last year?
And
we just were like, we're not going to
change the definition.
We're not going to call it a recession.
Yeah.
Technically, that's the definition.
Well,
but that's not. The
we
official.
had, but it's like it kind of bounced right off of the line. It stayed right there on it, and it actually did dip into what was traditionally known as a recession. But then it didn't go all the way into like full job loss, for instance, and a lot of the other things. So, but it's never really recovered either. Like, we got back the jobs that people were told to just stay home from, and that's about it. And then we had massive inflation, and now we may be going into a very slow jobs market. We don't know. I mean, I don't know, but I would just like to know from a leftist perspective, why do you think all of this has happened, and what do you think would fix it? What should we have done differently? I would like to know the answer to that.
Whenever I talk to leftists on Twitter or in person or whatever, generally the thought process or the idea is that this is actually a result of COVID. We're still coming out of COVID. We're still dealing with the ramifications of shutting down the economy. Also, part of that is because Donald Trump.
Fill in the blank.
Yeah, Donald Trump. But mainly, they step away, and it is really an issue of this has happened to Joe Biden, not something that Joe Biden has caused through his policies. And his policies, though we're not growing quickly, they're bringing us out of this. And it was something that either the previous administration or the pandemic did to them.
I ignorantly want to reach people and have conversations. And with each passing day, 456 days until the election, folks, 140 to Christmas. Just saying.
That's fine. It's August.
So close.
I've been saying.
Yeah. I told my kids yesterday, hey, I know we're going back to school, but now the Christmas clock starts.
Gosh, it's summer vacation, Christmas, school's out, summer vacation, Christmas, school's out. And then everything else in the middle is me just going, the whole time, like panicking.
Yeah. Then every 4 years, election.
456 days until the election happens. And that's going to go by in a blink. And there are going to be dramatic highs and lows of news stories that happen along that timeline. I do not believe that Joe Biden is going to be the nominee. I don't. I have been saying that. I continue to say that. I will continue to say that. And if I am wrong, it will be one of the best things that could possibly happen to the Republican Party. I'm almost so used to being disappointed when I'm wrong about things that I don't know if it's arrogantly feel like I'm falling on my sword to be so publicly wrong about something that he ends up being the nominee and everyone's like, Anna, you were wrong. And I'm like, but I feel so good inside.
Yeah, it's like saying, I know the Cardinals are not going to win the World Series.
No, I'm pretty sure I owe Brad a coffee, but not yet. I'm still saying
and
that
then they do, and you go, oh, no,
yeah.
I was so wrong.
No, I'm going to drink that coffee. If the Cardinals make the playoffs, because I'm saying that they will, and I bet Brad a coffee on that. When the Cardinals make the playoffs and Brad has to buy me a coffee, I'm going to drink that coffee during a segment, and Brad's going to do the segment.
Was that part of the deal, Brad?
I don't remember that.
I'm sure that Brad's still willing to make that deal.
I'm so worried about that I'll make that deal.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
I'm going to add on to this bet every day.
I think I was a part of that bet,
too.
too.
Get some reward on the other end of this, because that makes me risk more.
You're going to get a coffee out of this, so just relax.
I think I was going to get a coffee out of this somehow, too,
No,
but I don't remember
nothing
how.
to do with this bet.
No, I did
You
somehow.
weren't even here when we made that bet.
I was.
It didn't
I was
feel like
in
you
the
were.
room.
You wanted a coffee that's like 90% flavoring.
The last time I bought you a
10% coffee.
delicious Scooter's coffee, you put 4 sweeteners in it before you tasted it.
Yeah, I don't like espresso.
It was it was sweet.
Yeah, I made it. I covered up the espresso.
It was sweet before you.
Well, yes, but if there's any coffee
You salt
in
your
a
food.
drink,
Do you salt your food before you taste it?
yeah, usually,
Oh my god.
especially beans, green beans. Like, yeah, salt that. They're like, it's salted. I'm like, salt it again.
I don't like the way you said that at all. Man,
Anyway,
is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never a choice?
first, although I could have been convinced, and I still could. I still say that I think DeSantis would be a great president. Maybe he will be someday. But Donald Trump's still my first choice. What are you smiling at?
I'm reading the lower third on Fox. Ex-stripper to New York Post. Hunter acted like, quote, lost puppy. I couldn't surmise from just that
Is
headline.
that guy the ex-stripper?
No, he's
Oh,
from the
okay.
New York Post.
Oh, okay.
Good
I didn't know.
grief.
It said ex-stripper, and then they had that guy talking.
YouTube live chat poll, Brad. Is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never choice?
Man, I kept looking at this, and I'm going to have to go with second choice, even though he's really actually my third choice, but third choice isn't an option.
Who's number 2?
Vivek Ramaswamy.
I wondered. He's
doing good.
rising.
He's making inroads, you could say.
I hate it when you talk like that. Oh. There's just
My work
something.
here is done.
Do not talk with ice in your mouth on the radio.
I'm a contributor to the show, and I just contributed.
I'm going to have your microphone turned off until that ice is gone.
It was a great analysis. He's making inroads politically, is what Vivek Ramaswamy is doing.
Will you make a bingo card of things that pundits say? And
Yeah, absolutely,
we
I
will
will.
share it with our audience.
Yeah, we need to do it for the first debate.
Let's
we should
do.
do that.
We should can we take suggestions?
Heck yeah.
Things that would be said in the debate.
Yeah, or in the analysis.
By the candidates?
I think probably from the time it starts to the time they close it.
We need parameters of when it starts, and then we need to find out what people win.
Yes.
Dinner at Andrea's on you.
Ouch.
Don't you know people?
How about with me? And then you could pay and I'll eat.
I'm not paying for it.
We want a prize, not a punishment.
So
That's for everyone who loses bingo.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a quick break. We need your vote on the YouTube live chat poll. Is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never a choice? Never Trumpers. You go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, and you'll see in the live chat portion where you can join the conversation with 130 of your favorite best friends, new friends, what you think about the answer to this question. We'll feature some of those responses when we come back. Don't go away.
You know you got me going now.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Shopping for windows is not exactly the most exciting thing that you're going to have on your to-do list, but boy, will it pay off when you invest in good windows with Window World. Window World are one of the 2 windows with the Good Housekeeping seal of approval. They have a lifetime warranty that covers all parts, glass breakage, and labor. Call 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800 and learn more about how Window World can help you with your window purchase. They use a double-strength glass that gives it a strength not commonly used in replacement windows. And in just over 20 years of business, they've improved the look and thermal efficiency of over 70,000 customers in the St. Louis area. Window World is now offering 18 months, same as cash financing with approved credit. So if you are looking to make a window purchase in your future, whether it's one window or all the windows, you want to contact Window World and see how they can help you. Call them at 314-993-1800. That's 314-993-1800. One thing that separates this company from the rest out there is their commitment to customer service, and this is shown by their excellent track record with both the BBB and other reporting agencies. You can check those out for yourself. Reach out to them for a free in-home estimate and give them a call at 314-993-1800 or look them up at windowworld.com.
You've been wanting to check out that news story that everyone's talking about, but you just can't find the time. That's why the On Deadline podcast is here. We pull together interviews from Odyssey's radio newsrooms across the country and add important context so you can really get the news fast. From wildfires and catastrophes at sea to new laws and presidential candidates, we'll have coast-to-coast coverage for you all in one place. Subscribe to On Deadline on the Odyssey app or wherever you find your podcasts.
Hello, everybody. I'm John Rooney. Do you have an old car that's taking up room in the driveway? Repairs are costly and selling is a hassle? That's why you should donate it to Goodwill. Donating is quick and towing is free. Plus, you get a tax receipt and 4 tickets to a Cardinals game, compliments of the St. Louis Cardinals. That's a win-win. For more information or to donate, visit online at mersgoodwill.org. Must mention Cardinals.
It's the greatest pop rock of the 60s and 70s. The Happy Together Tour 2023. Saturday, August 19th, the Family Arena. Starring the Turtles, Little Anthony, Gary Puckett and the Union Gang, the Vogues, the Classics 4, and the Cowsills. Tickets are on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster.
John Michael Montgomery. Live. The multiple Grammy, CMA, and ACM award winner. John Michael Montgomery with McBride and the Ride. Friday, October 20th at the Family Arena. Reserved seats are on sale now at the Carroll House box office located at the Family Arena or Ticketmaster. John Michael Montgomery, live in concert.
Ron had a tax problem he just couldn't handle on his own.
I owed the IRS taxes for over 5 years, but I didn't have any money to pay the taxes.
Those years cost him dearly.
Most of it was fees and interest. It was horrible.
Ron finally called in the pros.
I called Optima Tax Relief, and boy, am I happy I did.
The leading tax resolution firm, Optima, is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. They've resolved over $1 billion for their clients. Ron was overjoyed.
They settled my account with the IRS. I was ecstatic. They are a lifesaver. They are. I am so happy.
Take Ron's advice and call Optima now for a free consultation.
Yeah, don't do like I did and wait. Call Optima Tax Relief. Do it now. You'll be ecstatic like me.
Call 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122. 800-987-6122.
Optima Tax Relief.
Testimonial from an actual client. Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
You're listening to the Annie Frey Show live from the Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation Studio. Summer's just getting started. Still need your air conditioner checked? Schedule your HVAC system check for only $54. This is a limited time offer. For details, visit aircomfortservice.com.
If you use a smart speaker, you can listen to 97.1 easier than ever. Just tell it to play 97.1 FM Talk. Or download the Odyssey app for your phone and stream the station whenever, wherever. This is the Annie Frey Show. Interact with Annie on Facebook. The Annie Frey Show.
One day, our children's children will read American history. And can you imagine our reading that James Madison or Thomas Jefferson tried to overthrow the government so they could stay in power? That's what we're looking at. We're looking at American history.
Are we?
It is good. He's right.
Wait a second. Let's walk through this. Can you imagine if the founding fathers had the audacity to overthrow?
Now that he says it, no.
Not at all?
I mean, I'm trying to think of a way that they could have done that.
I'm so glad
that would have ended well.
I'm so glad that he said it and didn't just write it. So I could play it in his own tone.
No, I can't picture it, to be honest with you.
We can be real sometimes. Some of us more than others say things out loud and we go, why did we say that?
I can't identify with that at all.
I can identify with you with that. I go, why did he say that out loud? I mean, if you just walk through this statement one more time with Al Sharpton, what is he really?
One day, our children's children will read American history. And can you imagine our reading that James Madison or Thomas Jefferson tried to overthrow the government so they could stay in power? That's what we're looking at. We're looking at American history.
Actually, I think what Al Sharpton is saying here is a commitment to America that one day we'll actually start having our kids read American history again.
Our children's children will read American history.
Stop. We'll just leave it at that.
Not
one
our children, but our grandchildren.
He's like, obviously,
they'll start reading.
I haven't read American history, but my hopes for the next generation is that they will learn.
I haven't read it, but my hope is for the next generation that they'll teach their kids to read it.
I don't know. It's hard to tell.
It sounds to me like what he's advocating for is an overthrow of the government.
Yeah, I don't understand how that could possibly fit into American history for somebody who hasn't read American history. That's the type of thing that's going to stick in a folder in my head that's going to kind of not ever go all the way back into the filing cabinet. It's just going to be out there. It's like a special color in my brain, and I'm going to always want to call back to it. And we'll be in the middle of a conversation, and I will on my on my drive here search Al Sharpton, and I'll be over here giggling at all of the different Al Sharpton clips I can play, and I'll be like, "You got to stick to the plan, Andy. You got to stick with it." And the other part of me will be going, "But they're all so great. How can I leave them there without entertaining the people with just a montage of Sharptonisms?"
Stick with the plan, Annie. No, R-E-S-P-I-C-T.
R-E-S-P-I-C-T, the plan. I don't know what you want me to do.
I can't believe he wasn't on The View, because that sounds like it would come straight out of The View. I
hear things like that, and I always want to know, like, what was everybody else thinking? Because if you and I were on that panel, we'd be going.
Point of order. Point of order.
I'd just sit there and be like, go on. What a doof.
You get to the end of it, it's like everybody's going to pretend like he didn't say it. Like, no. Nobody's going to mention this?
What do you
Nobody's
mean?
going to talk about this?
What do you mean, overthrow the government?
We the people.
It's funny because if he's referring to
this panel.
that wasn't even a peaceful overthrow of the government.
Not very.
That was quite a violent one. Took a number of years, quite a few deaths.
It involved warships.
It did.
How do you feel about the women's soccer team losing? I think it's the best thing they've done for their hatred of America.
Yeah, I can't say I was rooting for them. They didn't represent anything that I liked.
They don't represent anything they like.
I don't know what they like.
I do. They like themselves.
They do like the attention.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, Sweden beats the United States in a round of 16. Is this the earliest they've ever been knocked out?
Yes.
Yeah.
Were there rounds before this?
You can not make it through the it's like a play-in phase. So there's pool play, and you can not qualify.
Did the men recently not qualify or something?
Was it
I feel
last?
like that happened.
It was either last World Cup or the World Cup before that. They didn't qualify in pool play.
I am sad that because you know that not everybody on that team is Rapinoe. She's the captain, and she is the voice. It's like, LeBron James is going to be the voice of the team he plays for. Is he playing for the Lakers?
He is right now.
Okay. You're going to have people who are the stars who speak. When they speak, they are speaking. They're the face of the franchise. That is something that franchises will identify, and that person will be a spokesperson for it. And when Rapinoe is the spokesperson for the women's soccer team, she has done more to speak on her own. Like, to me, she is not representing the United States, but that's by her own choice. I'm not really saying that so much as a criticism of her as I am saying it as an identification of what is obvious. Rapinoe has, in direct conflict, interests with what representing a country and something that's bigger than yourself, should you choose to believe that it is bigger than yourself. Maybe that's a misnomer to begin with. Rapinoe has taken her position as a leader on the soccer team, but also as an influencer, and I don't say that pejoratively. She has used her voice to bring a spotlight to things that are distracting from her representing the United States on a global stage. She's chosen to do that. She is not the only one in pro sports who is doing that.
No, but she's put everybody on that team, if they disagree with her at all, even if it's just a little bit to a lot, in a bad situation. Because now, as the face of this franchise, she's saying, here is what I, and then by default, we stand for. And you need,
or not stand for.
And you need to be a cohesive unit to be a good team. And so if you're going to stand up against her, you're standing up against your own teammates, which she has put you in the position to have to do. So it doesn't surprise me that maybe they're not playing as quite a unit as they would like to be, because there might be people who disagree.
Well, I have no idea. I am not a soccer fan. I don't begrudge anybody soccer. I've never played it. I've played a lot of sports, but I never played soccer. I know that this is a huge soccer city. I don't disrespect anything or anybody who loves the women's soccer team, because I know it is really important to people. But when you have the opportunity to represent the United States on the front of your jersey, when you have the opportunity to represent something that's bigger than yourself and something that's bigger than the sum of your team, and you choose to use that opportunity for what Rapinoe has chosen to use that opportunity for. I mean, she's had the opportunity to, I don't remember what the event was, but she was given a microphone and she was speaking on behalf of the team or an award that she won, and she was incredibly foul in her language. There's just nothing about what she offers that is attractive to what I'm interested in rallying around when it's not a sport that I understand. I will get behind a United States team competing on a world stage in something that I know that the World Baseball Classic is a good example of it. I probably was negative about the World Baseball Classic before this last season. And watching the players from around the league come together and play for the United States, and watching Newbar go play for Japan, and watching Freddie Freeman play for Canada because we had Goldschmidt on the United States team playing first base, and watching Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani, and watching all of these people who are generally speaking, air quotes, enemies of St. Louis Cardinals fans come together and play for the United States. That touched me. That meant something to me in a way that I didn't anticipate that I would care about that. I kind of had previously thought of stop screwing up spring training baseball. These guys need to get ready to play, and this is screwing around with it. I'm glad we had the World Baseball Classic because the Cardinals had the best spring training of any National League team, maybe even broader than that. I love baseball, so that makes a difference. But I would imagine if you were somebody who tuned into the World Baseball Classic and you're a huge soccer fan, maybe not a huge baseball fan, that there would need to be something, a story, a connection that exists outside of the details of the sport that pulls you in and go, you know what, I am on this team. I am rooting for these guys. And maybe it's that your grandma came from Australia, or you had a dad who was from Japan or stationed in Japan and you like watching the culture or whatever it might be. The MO for this United States women's soccer team is a disgust for what America is. And it makes me sad that when they lose against Sweden early on, I'm like, okay, moving on. It doesn't bother me at all. I don't take pride in their loss, but I don't think that they take the right kind of pride in their wins. And that's the ground that they've laid out for themselves. I don't think they regret any of it. I think Rapinoe is very okay with where her star is today. She probably wishes she would have made the penalty kicks. I don't think that she lost on purpose, but if you want to attract people to your product and you're representing the United States, there has to be some sort of connection there where we can meet in the middle, even if we don't agree on a lot of things. And I don't know what I meet in the middle on with Rapinoe. She hasn't put anything out there that I don't think she wants me on her side. I think she has determined that I am on the wrong side and I need to stay there.
Yeah. And it has become political. I mean, this was the earliest the U.S. women's soccer team has exited the tournament. And yet President Biden said, "You've made our country proud. Congratulations on an incredible run. This team is something special, and I'm looking forward to seeing how you continue to inspire Americans with your grit and determination on and off the field."
When did he say that?
After they lost.
Oh. I don't know. I think that there are people who are kind of relishing in their loss. I'm not one of those people. But when the United States was playing in the World Baseball Classic, I was pulling for them. I was clearing my schedule to watch them. I like baseball. It's different. I remember watching the World Cup, would have been 2016, I think.
Every 4 years. So
I think we're off schedule, though, because of COVID.
The women are off by 2.
Well, I think it was 2016 because I think I was in the Ozarks. Might have been 2014. Or 15, I don't know. But I remember watching them. We were at the Ozarks in the summer, and it was like a before school last getaway. And I remember watching them and being shocked that I was that into the game. Just pulling for them. And I just don't even have.
Because it was America.
Yeah.
Not because you were that invested in the World Cup at that moment.
Yeah.
Well, it's like why you can watch the Olympics and be screaming at the television screen as your rowing team is out there. It's like, who watches rowing? I don't care, but you've got that flag of my country on the front of your boat, so let's go
and
us.
That bonds us.
And you have no bond to the women's soccer team other than that they have the flag, which they have disbanded themselves from. They have said, we are not associated with that, so you're not associated with them at all.
Yeah, it's kind of sad. It's like a missed opportunity. I guess it's a bummer that they lost, but moving on, really, as far as I'm concerned. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never a choice? We'll get your feedback in the comments and the results when we return.
The Annie Frey Show is streaming online. Watch us live on YouTube and subscribe.
Centric Security and Automation is there to help you and you're building your business with your security needs. If you have a scenario at your place of business right now where you have an outdated security system, and you know who you are. You understand that you have something in place, but it's probably insufficient. You've got cameras up, but they don't all work, and you're not exactly sure how you would access the information from them should you need it. Centric Security and Automation can work with the system that you already have set up, the wiring that you already have. You can reach out to them and talk to them about where your system is and where you would like it to be. If you're looking to upgrade your aging video surveillance or inadequate building access control system, Centric has standalone and cloud-hosted systems that provide you with easy remote monitoring and management of your system from an internet browser or mobile device. Plus, Centric Security and Automation is service-centric. They help you focus on their amazing service that they provide you, along with all the tech that they can help you install. All of their technicians are required to complete monthly training, allowing them to stay informed of the latest technologies to provide you the best service possible. Call my friends at Centric Security and Automation. They're located right here in the St. Louis region, but they service people nationally. If you are somebody who makes these decisions for your business, you want to consider the solutions, the affordable solutions that Centric Security and Automation can provide for you. 314-442-6860, 314-442-6860, online at centricstl.com.
I was having a lot of sinus infections. My sinuses were clogged, pressure, headaches.
Linda suffered for years with chronic sinus infections.
You don't feel like doing anything. When you feel like your head is completely clogged, all you want to do is just lay down and sleep. And the pressure, it's just not fun, always walking around with a headache.
Now, her issues are gone. How? A minimally invasive procedure done in the office of St. Louis Sinus Centers called balloon sinuplasty.
I really did not know what it was like to feel like you're really breathing and not being so clogged up. I would do it again in a heartbeat, and I would definitely recommend it for someone else.
Do you suffer with chronic sinus infections, facial pain, pressure, congestion? Find out if balloon sinuplasty is the solution for you. Set an appointment today with St. Louis Sinus Centers. Call 314-332-2885. 314-332-2885. That's 314-332-2885.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely on advertisements.
We are Andro Law, your St. Louis legal powerhouse. Auto accidents, work injuries, pharmaceutical litigations, we do it all.
Onder Law. Call 314 or 618-900,000 to learn more.
Surprise!
Surprise!
You know, surprise parties, they can be fun, right? Well, financial surprises, not so much, especially when you're retired, like finding out you owe more in taxes than you thought you would, or having to go back to work to make ends meet. Maybe you think you'll be okay, but why not double check just to be sure? Call Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions and schedule a retirement double check. Marvin and his team have been helping families plan for retirement for more than 15 years. Call 314-373-1598 to schedule your retirement double check with Marvin Mitchell at Compass Retirement Solutions. That's 314-373-1598. Don't let a financial surprise derail your retirement dreams. Give Marvin and the team a call, 314-373-1598. Firm offers insurance services, investments, and services offered through Compass Retirement Group, a registered investment advisory in Missouri and in Illinois.
TheDiamondShop.net, it's the website where you can go sign up right now to become a VIP at the Diamond Shop. I love the family that runs the Diamond Shop. The Cones are so helpful when it comes to purchasing jewelry, to helping you know what might be on trend if you were looking for something as a gift for somebody else, or if you know exactly what you want, they'll have it in shop or they can make it for you. Right now, they have an amazing sale taking place as a summer clearance sale up to 70% off select items through August 19th. When you go to thediamondshop.net, you can click on the link, become a VIP, and save even more. The Diamond Shop is located in Clayton, Missouri, and they've been there and serving St. Louis since 1910. They are reliable. They serve generations of people because when you go to buy jewelry, when you want to make a watch purchase or maybe an engagement or a wedding ring purchase, you need somebody you can trust. And those people are at the Diamond Shop. They have 6 months, same as cash financing for you as well. So if you're looking to make a purchase, save big on their summer clearance sale right now. Like I said, up to 70% off. You can find them online by visiting thediamondshop.net.
You wouldn't trust a butcher to babysit your pet pig. You wouldn't trust a lumberjack to repair your antiques. Or a professional wrestler to be your massage therapist. So why would you trust anyone but AMCO to fix your car? For over 50 years, we've been the trusted experts in transmission repair.
AMCO offers easy payment plan options for most any credit situation, so you can fix it fast and pay it off slow at AMCO.
AAMCO.
The YouTube live chat poll of the day is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never a choice? One of those four. Let us know what you think, and then here in just a couple minutes, we'll let you know what everybody has said about this question. It's the YouTube live chat poll of the day on the Annie Frey Show YouTube page. Right now, it is 2:45. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating and Air Conditioning.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
The Mark Reardon Show.
Scott Jennings, 97.1 FM Talk, political insider.
Hunter Biden, who's a grown man, who's supposed to be responsible for his decisions. It's somehow the Republicans' fault that he has a child that he won't acknowledge, that he won't pay his child support. This is not a Republican's fault.
Weekdays from 3 to 6.
I've been reading books of old, the legends and the myths, Achilles and his gold, Hercules and his gifts.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on St. Louis's home for conservative talk. Follow Annie on Instagram at The Annie Frey Show.
She said, where'd you wanna go? How much you wanna risk? I'm not looking for somebody with some superhuman gifts, some superhero, some fairy tale bliss, just something I can turn to, somebody I can kiss. I want something just like this.
Welcome back to the Annie Frey Show. Thanks for being here with us this Monday afternoon. I'm so glad to be back in the office. I'm going to ask a question that I don't think I want the answer to.
All right, I will shut up.
Are you, Brad, are you ready for this?
I'm ready for it.
Is it easier to do this when I'm not here, or is it easier to do this when I am here? Or do I just make it a different kind of hard?
You go first.
I don't want to say it's easier when you're not here because it's not. Because you do radio so well that, and there's this
top that, Ryan.
Boo.
There's this sense of like I can read you a lot better than I can a guest host. So I can get a feel for where you're going with something. I can also know when you're kind of rapping and all that other stuff, and so I can make a tighter, better sounding show when you're here. But I also have to pull
here we go.
way more audio when you're here because the guest hosts don't use any audio whatsoever, and the audio is probably one of the biggest time sucks of my morning when I'm preparing for the show.
How many clips do you want when you host? Because I have right now 20 of them. And
I usually
probably
want
used like 6 of them, maybe.
I usually want about 4, 5, or 6 roughly of just general, like tell me what the news kind of clips are.
Yeah.
And then I will almost always have a suggestion for about 3 or 4 more that I want to.
So like a 10?
Yeah.
Or a dozen?
Mm-hmm.
I think I pulled 7 for you.
That sounds about right. Yeah, I usually will have some piece of audio that I want to pull apart and break down in one segment. That's just something I usually do, and like walk through an interview or something. But aside from that, I just use general clips.
I didn't listen to the show 1 minute while I was gone. Yeah, every once in a while I'll dip in, depending on what I'm doing or where I'm going and how busy I am when I'm out. I really try hard to make the longer, since I took the full week off, I really try hard to make that unplug, go elsewhere, because I don't want to be thinking about things. And you guys do a great job when I'm out. And it's like there's a point where I have to completely understand that if I want to be able to take vacations, then people are going to do it differently than I would do it if I were there. And I have to let go, and I have to let that grow and the more opportunities you have to grow in that regard, the better it is for the show as a whole. And the more comfortable people will be when I say I'd like to take a vacation. But I know that it's different when a guest, because I did a lot of guest hosting for Mark Cox before I got the midday show here when he moved into the morning. I would fill in, and it's like you could totally tell it's an entirely different vibe.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's we have kind of a chemistry. We know each other well enough that there's a lack of that when somebody steps into the role. The other weird thing is that when I host, the whole team's in here, and so you have to have a separate producer out there. So that kind of throws things off. Or when we have a guest host and I'm still co-hosting, they tend to lean on me a lot more than a typical host would.
What is the difference in your role when I'm here or when a guest host that's not you?
There's a lot. I mean, we'll laugh a little bit, but it's not not quite as funny because I think I can already see like in your eye sometimes where you're going with something, and I'll start to laugh or think of where that's headed, and it just kind of snowballs. Whereas I don't always have that with somebody coming in fresh. So that's part of it. But then also the serious stuff, I think our guest hosts don't do. They'll do big topics, but they don't do news of the day as much. So a lot of the Devin Archer stuff, it was like Brad and I were like, hey, we need to be talking about this a little bit more. It's a bigger deal. Whereas they're just not as used to stepping in and going, what's happening today as much.
Speaking of balls.
Let's talk about some balls.
You want to hear what Balls says about the YouTube live chat poll?
Yeah.
YouTube live chat poll for today is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never a choice? Balls on YouTube says Trump would be my last of my top three, same as Brad. Something I have learned listening to the Annie Frey show is the importance of electability, and I believe Trump comes in last with electability of my top three. How do you guys, Brad, you already kind of said something similar. Ryan, how do you feel about that?
I think he's way more electable than he gets credit for. I think he's going to pull from people who don't vote unless it's him. Which we always talk about the middle. He'd be like alienating the middle a little bit. I think that's true, but he also pulls in people who just don't vote as much.
Erica says, I chose second choice because even though I voted for Trump twice, I feel that there are better options out there, but I would still vote for him if he was the nominee. I think there's a lot of people who feel like Erica feels.
Yeah.
Joe says, poll, the Don is my second choice. I'd like to see somebody else in the primary for the sake of the country, but I will vote for Trump if given a binary choice.
It's interesting the phrase he used, for the sake of the country, because I think what he's predicting there is something that could very, very easily happen. If Donald Trump is elected again, there is a contingent of this country that is going to lose their minds.
Yeah. Whatever they have left of their minds to lose.
They're going to go nuts.
Yes.
So we don't know what that looks like.
Jordan says first choice because he isn't part of the quote machine and is the best candidate overall. All the other Republican candidates that copy Trump's policies. There aren't very many people that are running on the Republican side who aren't rip and read Trump policies. America first.
I mean, they've realized that it worked. So in that sense, you really got to tip your hat to Donald Trump.
Eric says chose second choice on the questionnaire. If he is the nominee, though, then he is my first choice. Joseph says, first choice, only choice. If GOP tries to block him, America is done. Hunter says, Trump is my second choice. I hope some GOP person is able to right out and beat him. Our friend Todd says, I voted Trump because I want him to come back and continue the good work he was doing. Don't see it happening, but I'd love Trump for 4 years, DeSantis the following 8. How does Ron DeSantis jump back into the race in 2028 with the MAGA blessing? Is that possible? I mean, it is. Everything's possible in politics.
It is possible. Donald Trump has to make it possible. If Donald Trump says, you know what, water under the bridge, we're going with DeSantis. I moved to a state for a reason.
Are you talking like that on purpose?
Yeah.
I think that at 100%, if Donald Trump gets the nomination, it all is based on what Ron DeSantis does in between nomination and election. How hard does Ron DeSantis campaign for Donald Trump?
Yeah.
Because if Ron DeSantis shows up for Donald Trump, water under the bridge.
Yeah, exactly.
Ron says Trump was my last choice. Too many people hate him and will turn out just to vote against him and will hurt the down ticket. Anyone else is fine. I think that what Ron is saying is the exact thing that you're saying, Ryan, and I think that they cancel each other out.
That's very possible. That's very possible. Although, if 2020 is your barometer, because it's a very good one, if you end up having the same two candidates again, you're looking at there was a big anti-Trump vote that may not show up quite as much because they've actually seen Joe Biden now, which they didn't in 2020.
Pon says, I said last choice in the poll only because I doubt if I vote for him in the primary, but will if he is the candidate. The results of today, over 250 votes today. It's quite a bit of votes. A lot of people wanted to weigh in on this one. Is Donald Trump your first choice, second choice, last choice, or never a choice? I'm going to go from the bottom up. Never a choice, 1/5, 20%. Say never Trump.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's surprising.
Last choice, meaning I'd vote for him, but that's the end of it, that I'm going to vote for every Republican other than that, 12%. Second choice, 22%. So a little bit more than never choice, and first choice is 46%. So if you combine first choice and second choice, it's at 68%, which is, I think, a good slice of people who listen to the show who I know are not as hardcore Trump heavy, but I think are very practical about it. We don't talk to a lot of people here who would help enable a Democrat to win for the sake of showing Donald Trump what's up. That's such a short-sighted place to be. Jaded said, I voted first choice, but honestly, at this point, it's all a bleep show.
And he said bleep.
Yeah.
He didn't say something else.
Sheepdog says, Trump was, is, and will continue to be my first choice. He is what the country needs to get right back on track. Larry says, I voted my first choice. We need to try to get this country back on track, and I think President Trump is the man to do that. And Katie, last one here, said, I voted second choice, though that's just because he's not my first, last, or never choice. There are several candidates looking better than Trump to me at this time, so I'm waiting to see how it goes. I definitely have seen a lot of people be seriously interested in who Vivek Ramaswamy is. That's as far as I'll put it. I don't know how many of those people are like, that guy needs to be the next president of the United States. But every time Vivek shows up somewhere, people want to listen to what he has to say. And when they're done listening to him, if they gave him the time, they go, oh, kind of like that.
He's creative. He says stuff that's not typical and it's outside the box, and it's stuff that may become part of somebody else's platform.
It'd be very interesting to see where he could possibly land in a cabinet position to help business and, whatever his specific skills are, really take off and get some new, fresh thought into the process. Thanks for being here. Glad to be back. Happy to be back from vacation. You're going to keep it right here for the Mark Reardon Show. Don't go away. He'll be right here in just a couple minutes.
There are a lot of smart business people out there making smart decisions by getting Rhino Shield. The latest one, the Central Illinois Care Services, they have decided to go with Rhino Shield on the outside of their building so they won't have to worry about maintenance from now on. The list is long. Joe's Tire out in Sullivan, Stonehill Wineries in Herman, they've all got Rhino Shield on their buildings. You can have it on your business or your house. Just call 877-25-RHINO. Let Darren come out and give you a free estimate as to what it would cost to get this great product on your home. 25-year transferable warranty, 100% waterproof, 8 to 10 times thicker than paint, and as a satisfied customer,